Yo, you guys doing this fine Thursday? Absolutely unannounced, unscheduled. But I wanted to get through the second half, perhaps second, third of the D&D 5.0 review. Oh, 1 D&D 5.1.1.5, something like that. Did one stream on it already, but didn't get too far in. We got up to classes, talked a lot about the system itself, a lot of other stuff. Hold up, D&D 5.5, well, whatever they want to call it. 1 D&D 5.5, the patch, right? Bigs and huges in chat from YouTube, thanks a lot. Did you bust it with a 15 stream streak? Big streaker. I almost didn't say that because of the connotations, but Matt Big, alright. Anyway, I thought I'd throw up the old stream doc, just like the old days, and put a big green pen, red pen, yellow pen kind of thing. Good, sure, and bad. Because it's a tabletop RPG that has like a dungeon master, a game master, etc. There's basically nothing the GM can't fix if they feel like it, you know? So, there's the disclaimer. Also, opinion's mine. I'm trying to remember. Was anybody there last time? Who is here this time? I'm looking for some reminders. What was the good, sure, bad? Anything stick out in your mind from what we talked about last time? Love your content. Killing it. Hey, thanks, Matt. Matt Big. Thanks for the $5. I appreciate it. On YouTube. That $5 makes it worth me clicking on this button to go live today instead of do something else. I appreciate it. If you get knocked out, yeah, that's right. You give them the short rest condition. That thing was funny. That was a funny one. I'm typing away before we switch scenes here. Stats seem unbalanced. Dex too important. Which platform is better, YouTube or Twitch, to watch me? Whatever you want. I stream on both so that you, the viewer, can watch on whichever one you happen to prefer. As far as the metrics and data and stuff, don't worry about it. As a viewer, I prefer watching on Twitch. Because the whole chat interface is like 1 billion times better on Twitch than it is on YouTube. As are the little notifications and stuff. However, on YouTube you can scrub back and watch stuff you've missed while it's still live. And sometimes you can't do that on Twitch. If you're watching on a phone, I'm told the apps are different, you know, between each other, but yeah. Twitch has way better emotes, way better chat system, look and feel of it. But it's just my opinion. Remember you disliked one of the paladin subclasses? I don't think we didn't get the paladin. I think somebody told me about one of the paladin subclasses or something like that. So excited for the D&D schism coming after 5.5. Maybe people will play other games. I don't know. Generally, I have found people just play whatever the current edition is, because whatever the current edition is the one that is the most popular. And hence, it's easier to find people to play with. I think that's the thing. It's generally the thing. Ease of people to find to play with is the true power of Dungeons and Dragons, and whatever the most popular 3 or 4 happen to be at any given decade. That's really the driving force. It's not really this game mechanic or that game mechanic, or this art or that art, or this system, that system. It's generally, if you can't find people to play with, then you don't play whatever game, even if literal who swears up and down that it's better or whatever. I prefer other TTRPGs to D&D. I like other ones better. But I started with D&D, and it holds a fondness to me. And I liked 5.0 for what it was well enough. But like many people, I played it for about a year. Found it easy to dive into and easy to pick up and play, but ultimately pretty shallow. And I became bored with it quickly and moved on. Back to my other TTRPGs of choice, and Magic and all that other stuff. Which was in general kind of my complaint with it. I liked it better than 4, because I played it more than one time. But ultimately it didn't really hold my attention. It reminded me, even though this is very unfair to say, because the people who work on Dungeons & Dragons haven't, nor have they ever quite sunken so low as to the people who work on Blizzard games, or should I say the bosses in charge of people that work on Blizzard games. But it reminded me of when the new World of Warcraft expansion inevitably comes out every year or so for the past 20 years. And you're like, oh, a new expansion, you play it. You play it for like a month, and then you just disengage with it. The same old, same old. Other people bounce off it, you bounce off it. Playing the patch, not the expansion. It isn't how you remembered it. It just did, you bounce off. And you're like, I'm not playing that again. And then next expansion comes out, you play it for 2 or 3 weeks, and then you just kind of leave. That's what 5th Ed kind of felt like. Except the timeline was broadened, into the slower cycle of TTRPGs rather than video games. Something is going to knock down D&D from its pedestal. It's basically the Warhammer of TTRPGs. Yeah, probably. But I don't have a chip on my shoulder about that. And people who do, I find annoying. I hate to break it to them. It's too bad. It's really not their fault, and maybe it's mean to say, or perhaps it's unfair to feel that way. But you've all met people like this. Perhaps you've been a person like this at some time in the past, right? I have a chip on my shoulder about the most popular thing within my sphere, and I have my own, this thing I like, and I wish everyone played the thing I like. And there's a sliding scale of how annoying you can be about that, all the way down into the La Brea tar pits and the muck and slime of the person who responds on Twitter to every single D&D meme with a big LARPing paragraph. Oh, there's so many other RPGs out there. Why does everyone care about the most popular one? Woe is me. So annoying. I might not even be there to defend the main thing, but I instantly don't like people like that. It's not their fault, probably. They just like their thing and they don't like the big thing. You hear this older one called Rifts is good? Well, you're wrong. It's not good. But that's why it's great. You gotta be self-aware, you know. You get points for that. Have an awareness of reality. You'd be surprised how disarming that can be. Just let me have fun pretending to be a wizard. That's all I've ever asked. I live in a log cabin wizard tower in my Twitch description. Sorry for the loud noise. Ahem. Thanks to Wanzi doing a lot of dumb stuff, you searched for other TWG games and found quite a few that you like a lot. Lancer, Shadowrun, Call of Cthulhu, Pathfinder, Tales from the Loop. I've heard people bring up Lancer a lot, but I don't know anything about it. I'm gonna show my age here a little bit. I really liked Shadowrun. You mentioned Shadowrun. I really liked it a lot. But the last time I played Shadowrun, FASA owned it. So I don't know what they have done with it since. But I really liked it. It was great. Call of Cthulhu I've played a few times, but I'm not like a sucker for the Cthulhu ethos really. And so I sort of played it because other people were excited about the setting, but I never really was. It's alright. Horror stuff, you know. Pathfinder I liked a lot. Ish. Yeah, I liked Pathfinder well enough. I enjoyed it. I played it for many years. I played it instead of D&D 4th Ed, just like everyone I knew or ever heard of at the time. I never looked into Pathfinder 2. I don't know anything about that one. Opinions seem mixed, but it's hard to say. And Tales from the Loop I haven't heard of. Lancer's very gamey, and you basically have to use grid, which you seem to prefer Theater of the Mind. I do, yeah. I'll use a grid. I've done it all the time, you know, for years and years. I just don't prefer to, that's all. Can't find a perfect game. PF2 is Deece, you say? Thassa of Oracle fame? Yeah. Arcane Trickster versus Bard, where do you stand? Spell Squelcher. Rogue Mage, 2nd edition. In other words, where do I stand? Leaning against a cane, back arched. Wobbling. Calling my doctor. Knees in pain. The guy who did Lancer did another one that plays like Tactics as an RPG. Okay. Interesting. Scaling is capped scaling is capped so feats tend to give you cool tricks rather than better numbers in PF2. Okay. Cool tricks or powerful tricks? Or out of combat tricks, or whatever, what have you. I guess there's a bunch of different ways to describe that. I should just look at it. I don't know that I feel like playing telephone with what PF2 is about. It would be kind of unfair to it one way or another. So maybe I should look into it. Magna Gothica. It's more of a skirmish war game than an RPG. Okay. well, then I really, really don't care about it. No offense. This may surprise you as a generally Warhammer streamer. But historically, I'm extreme tabletop RPG, and really a distaste for war games. But keep in mind, the only war games I was really aware of on a rules level growing up were Warhammer Fantasy and 40K. And looking at the way their games played. Good job, King. And looking at the way their games played and the rules that they had written from the 90s to the 2000s, I hope you won't blame me for finding it to be pure comedy. World of Darkness has so much stuff on it, it's pretty funny. I really... So, I played some Vampire the Masquerade in college, so like 2002. I hated the system. One of the worst systems I've ever played with. The world and LARPing opportunity and role-playing was really rich and cool. And the people who were big fans of World of Darkness were the grossest weirdos that I really didn't enjoy being around ever. Now, this is a anecdote and a local thing, so perhaps I just got unlucky. But it turned me off kinda to the thing because of the people. And so this isn't a sweeping statement, this is just like my experience with it. I really like the world and the lore and the role-playing opportunities. And I thought the game system was either really bad or I just didn't like it, or both at all. And the people that played it and really liked it were the nail in the coffin. But if you can imagine, the year is 2002. And a guy in big black combat boots he got at the surplus store, Jinko jeans, a fishnet wife beater, 7,000 bracelets, unwashed hair for the last month, black nail polish, a smell to him, and like phony Wiccan name he demanded everyone call him, with a real questionable relationship with his former relationship. Just kind of obnoxious weirdos. And I know that that's how normal people looked at me when I was playing Dungeons and Dragons in 1995. You know, these are nerd, geek, loser kind of, you know, games. And so I guess there's a pecking order or something, but, you know, they're quite a bit more mainstream nowadays, I suppose. I say loser affectionately. Harzulian's Boy 30, thanks for the tier 1 for 11 months. I really appreciate it. Good comment. The comment being big. Your friends tried Vampire. You treated the stuff like a parody of Twilight. Oh, that's too bad. I bet Twilight probably ruined a lot of the stuff they were trying to do. I hadn't considered that. Have you thought about trying to basically explain for old world factions? No. I was never interested in Warhammer Fantasy growing up in the 90s and 2000s. Didn't like the models. We all made fun of how bad the rules were. The crowd wasn't very friendly and no one played the game. And what little we knew about the setting and lore was just like a Brit Bonger ripoff of Tolkien, except made dumber. Skaven were cool though, conceptually. Never really liked it that much. to be honest. And I don't have the nostalgia for it now. Or the fake nostalgia people have for it now after not playing it ever, but playing the Total War games that came after it died, kinda. My bud can make a broken mage, so you like the challenge of just being some dude with a shotgun versus monsters, yeah. You love Changeling because it isn't about combat like that. I played Mage the Ascension, I played Vampire the Masquerade, didn't play Changeling. I think I liked Mage the most. It had some really interesting ideas. Age of Sigmar is better than Warhammer Fantasy. I mean, I think so. I'm sure a bunch of people don't. But I think so. Revan, hello. Grew up on D&D 3.5 and moved to Pathfinder 1. P2E is just okay. Most of your players prefer either 3.5 or 1E Pathfinder. Alright. Alright. Yeah, I liked Pathfinder 1E just fine. I liked D&D 3.5. It was a lot of fun. I liked 3. I liked Second Ed. Player's Option, I liked Second Ed. Very different, except for 3 and 3.5, I guess. But, yeah, I liked them all in their time. I bounced off of 4, but kind of so did everyone else. And nowadays people are like, you know, 4 wasn't that bad, and I'm unable to parse whether it's true or not. Because I've lived long enough, and I was alive for it, for the Star Wars prequels to come out in theaters. And we all went and saw it. And it was terrible. And everyone made fun of it. Everyone made fun of it. Like, they were so bad. Like, we walked out of the theater and we're like, holy. Can you believe how bad that was, right? And now it's been long enough that some people are like, you know, they weren't that bad. And I have a film degree. I went back and watched them and I'm like, no, they're bad. Even in hindsight. I wonder what the name for that quality is. Where something was bad and remains bad. But it happened long enough ago that people just start saying insane things. Like, wasn't that bad, underrated. Not sure. I'm not saying that is true about D&D 4th Ed. I'm wondering if it is. Maybe I should go back and look at it. Rose-tinted glasses. I feel that rose-tinted glasses are appropriate for something that you liked before. Not something that was terrible. I don't know. To me, it's like rose-tinted glasses are something you liked, but it's been long enough, and so now the nostalgia takes over, and you think that it was good, but it actually didn't age well, and you were young, and you didn't know enough yet, or whatever. I guess maybe rose-tinted glasses does have a little bit of that edge to it, because there's such a thing as, like, looking back on something that was kind of suffering, and kind of hard, or difficult, or annoying, but ultimately rewarding, and then you can be like, oh, remember the grind to Grand Marshal or whatever. So maybe there's a little of that, but it wasn't hard to watch that movie. It was hard to sit through it, maybe. Matt rose-tinted glasses. You were a wee lad and had no freedom bucks to get into it, but Bretonia looked cool with the Pegasyne Griff Leader. You might buy a box for D&D. Right. It's called Something Worse Came Out After, so it's no longer the worst thing. Yeah, maybe, but I think you should be honest about that then. If something worse came out after, then say that. Those were still bad, but it's gotten worse. Instead of, they weren't actually that bad, they were actually great. I guess I'm promoting some honesty, maybe, with ourselves and others. I say, as I'm running a Rifts game in 2024, Maybe I'm in a glass house, but I really like it. That's the beauty of TTRPGs. If you don't like the current edition, just play the one you like. You know, most people are just kind of looking for a GM. And they'll play, if you're convincing enough, they'll play kind of whatever system. They're just looking for somebody to be a GM. I have all the Palladium Rifts books from 1988 to, or 1989 to 2019 or so, and it's not going away. The company might be, but they can't take it away from me, and I can play it whenever I want. You know, they can't take D&D 3.0 away from you if you like that one the best. They can't take Chainmail away from you if you like that. Can't take 4.0 away from you even if you like that one. You can just play it still. You can't do that with everything. A lot of video games you can't do that with. They just won't install. Maybe someone hasn't made a patch for it to work on modern computers and it only ran on Windows 3.1 or 95, or it was an MMO, so you'll never get that thing back even with a private server. Yeah, you can put Mario in an NES and it still works today. But some of that stuff you can't. With TTRPGs, it's just a book, man. Or a PDF. You can play it whenever you want. As the person described in chat whose players prefer 3.5, no big deal. Wasn't 4th Ed originally supposed to be for WoW Tabletop? I haven't heard that. It was something that I said out loud as I was complaining about 4th edition as I was reading it when it first came out. In jest. I would be surprised to learn that, if that were the case. It's what it felt like if you're trying to make fun of it or something, but I hadn't heard that. It did feel video gamey to me, in a way I didn't much care for. But then again, I played the Final Fantasy TTRPG once or twice. I played the EverQuest tabletop RPG once or twice. I played like a million of them in college. You tricked all your friends into learning and playing it by saying that's what you wanted the GM? Yeah. Sick mech TTRPG. Lancer, that is. Alright. Well, if Lancer has mechs, then I already am predisposed to kind of like it. Found something that works for you? Yeah. And it doesn't really matter if things have moved on or this edition changes or whatever, you know. Especially if you're a GM. If you're not, I bet it's a lot harder. And you feel that pressure to just play whatever you can find, you know. But as a GM, maybe I'm privileged in a way where I could just run whatever game I want and potentially find people interested in playing it. Although the GM privilege comes at a cost, and that is having a part-time job of writing a game every week or every other week or whatever, and managing all the players and everything. Neverwinter Nights was a gateway drug for 3.5 for you. Neverwinter Nights was fun. It had I believe it had like a GM mode where you could, and like a level builder in there. I played a bunch of custom levels in it. That was a fun one. That's back when games gave you like level editors and stuff packaged with them, and a bunch of options to just do whatever you want and be creative. I don't think this is... I don't have any official word on this, but my tinfoil hat is that you know how companies never do that anymore? Like a big game comes out, it never comes to the level editor. Or like private server hosting of your own, like, ooh, connect to this guy's server and play this game, connect to that guy's server, play that game. It's all part of the network that they run, and they don't let players have any tools, and they don't like mods, and they don't like anything like that. My suspicion is that League of Legends was the reason why no one does that anymore. Because they watched Blizzard lose $6 billion. Because somebody made a game better than they could out of their other game. And every other company was like, that's a cautionary tale. Why are we paying money to make a level editor? Just don't. The problem is, that was actually a really good pipeline for future level editors professionally, who did that as a kid. And so the talent pool has kind of suffered for that. But that's another story. You GM for 3 people who love Pathfinder and know far more about it than you do. So sometimes they, the players, have to explain some rules. But you do all the narrative legwork, and that's what they appreciate. Yeah. It's no big deal. If I don't know a rule, we'll just look up the rule. And then I'll read the rule. And if it's not what I was thinking was supposed to happen here, or I don't like it, you change it. I'm pretty open about that kind of thing with the players. I'm like, what are the crash rules in Rifts? And like Vince looks them up. And he's like, well, there's a few. There's 2 different ones that contradict each other, and then there's 2 optional ones in 3 different books. Like, okay, I'll pick the one that I think makes the most sense. What do you guys think? I mean, I suppose you have the final say, right? It's your world, but I don't know that it needs to be adversarial, like a referee or something like that. The Tony Hawk skate park creator to town planner pipeline. I mean, it sounds funny when you say it out loud, but I would wager that it is a very real thing and really did happen to a few generations of city planners and upper management who used to run guilds in World of Warcraft and put it on their resume in 2007. And, you know, this and that. I bet that kind of stuff really did happen. You always want to be inspiring the kids to do stuff and get obsessed with something. And that was a really good pipeline for it. Or perhaps kid in a D&D game and then an actor or something. It worked for Vin Diesel, am I right? You love moments when you DM a game that makes people cry or scream or just get invested and they need a minute. And you still talk about them years later. For the VOD watchers, I was reading a comment in that moment. I don't actually like to make people cry. Unless they're watching my YouTube video called The Year's 1993. And then I overtly did try to make you cry. But only if you're of a certain age. After all the years you've DM'd, you've learned to try and lay everything you are wanting from your players before the game starts and let them know the rules changes and stuff. Yeah, that's just communication. That's your pitch, essentially. I do the same thing, more or less. I'm thinking about running a game, kind of like this, in this place, in this world. What type of campaign are you guys trying to do? Oh, okay, it's a mercenary one. All right, so you'll be like an upstart mercenary band. All right. In which case, we're gonna start the game after, what is the rule, right, for screenplays? Start the story as late as possible. And so the meeting in a tavern and talking to each other and having to role play out for absolutely no reason, becoming pals for life after drinking a beer next to somebody one time. We'll just skip that. And this is a heroic game. It's not an evil game, it's a heroic game, so I would appreciate some heroic characters, both in mindset and in deed, right? You guys are the good guys, after all. You don't have to be the good guys when you're playing a TTRPG, but the good guys being heroes is the type of game that I'm running right now. So that's what we're doing. That's what you are right now by proceeding after I tell you this, agreeing to, kind of implicitly. So both Dales, first time chatter. You've not done that in the past, and it's ruined games, unfortunately. Yeah, everybody has a different type of fun. A lot of times I'll be asking the GM that if I'm a player in the game anyway. What kind of game is it? Are you starting a level 1? Are we heroes? Is this like an evil game? What kind of world is it? Is it high fantasy, low fantasy? Is it like Silent Hill? Is it we're counting silver bullets and survival horror? Is it we're Marvel superhero style stuff? You kind of want to get your bearings before you've even started to create a character. And so most of the questions that I would have of a GM are the ones that I try to answer for my players before they're really even my players. And then making everybody building their characters at the same time, ideally in person, but it could be over Discord nowadays, right? But just so everybody is making the characters at about the same time and talking to each other. That's important too, for party balance. Not balance power level wise, although that too, I suppose, but also composition and attitudes and things like that. You can technically have a party of 4 wizards, but it would be a very different style of game. The GM would have to be really prepared for that, Ahem. You miss gaming TTRPGs in person? Yeah, I kind of do. I'm naturally a hermit who lives in a log cabin wizard tower and doesn't go outside. So I kind of don't miss it in a certain sense, just because that's my nature. And I like doing it over Discord. But it's nice to do it in person as well, sure. It's easier to read people. As a GM, when I'm doing something, you're sort of like a stand-up comedian in a way. Not being funny, but like there's a crowd. And it's a crowd of 3 or 4 people only. But it still is. And it's a lot easier to improvise and improv. And it's easier to see if what you're doing is getting received well. There's an old adage among stand-up comedians, and that's, if what you're doing in this moment is making the audience laugh, keep doing that, And I don't mean it in a laughing way, whatever, It's easier to do stuff like that, I guess, in person. In Discord, people have their mics muted and you say something and you're kind of like waiting for them to respond. The responding thing is awkward. They don't know if you're done talking. They don't know if your mic cut out. Anytime anyone tries to talk, they accidentally always talk over someone else, you know? And in person, they wouldn't talk over somebody else. Talking over people is actually kind of rare in person. On Discord, it's really common. Because it's like innocent, you know? Anyone been in a hobby rut lately? You've hit one and haven't really done anything in weeks? Not sure how to get out of it, huh? I'm not like painting all the time anyway. So I don't consider it a rut because I wanted to paint an army and I painted an army and I liked it and it was fun, but I'm not the kind of person who's always painting. And so I wouldn't call what I'm in a rut necessarily. I just finished painting my stuff and I don't feel like painting more. But I'm not like a hobby painter. I'm painting because I have stuff to paint that needs painting. You have an array of different projects at different stages and you're just stuck. Chivalry 2 has been fun, but you want to get back to projects, but nothing is enticing you. Okay. I don't have motivational advice for you, really. That's a tough one. I'm tempted to say do what you want to do, but then I don't know, are you just going to not do anything for the rest of your life? Not eat or sleep or breathe? Pretty unlikely. But you can't be too careful with advice online. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. You say you've been playing Chivalry 2. Have you beat the game? Because if you've been really liking Chivalry 2, but you really should get back to projects, but you don't feel like it, perhaps what you need is to finish. Like the feeling of finishing something. So, beat Chivalry 2 and then the game is beat, and you've won, and the game's over. Maybe it's like a movie that you put on pause, and in the back of your mind, the movie is just on pause. Maybe you just gotta finish it. It's kind of like painting. You just want to get it done. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna add some stuff to my... Yeah, watch all of Columbo. I love Columbo. Columbo's great. One more thing. Just one more season. Chivalry 2 is like CS, but medieval siege warfare. Oh, okay, so it's not like a game that you really finish, you just played forever. I see. Trying to redesign the smite spells in the same design space as Zephyr Strike. Here's what you have for Hail of Thorns. For the duration, whenever you are hit with a melee attack, thorns spray from your body and deal d6 piercing damage to the attacker. Rest is the same. I haven't gone through the full book yet, Dale and Dale. I need to get to Paladin. The first stream we got up to, I think we finished Barbarian. But I read like everything, you know. Introduction page, all that kind of stuff. And we chatted a whole bunch about the different things. So... Oh, it's 5e. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about 5-5. Pardon me. Redesigning the Smite spells in the same design space as Zephyr Strike. Alright. How do they operate? Am I going to look up Zephyr Strike? I'm not familiar with Paladin, what Zephyr Strike is. It's been too long. As I said, I played 5th edition for about a year when it came out. And then I got kind of bored of it and went back to other TTRPGs. Flash forward like 10 years, and now I'm reading 5.5. That's my timeline. So, a particular spell line in the Paladin thing is obscured for me. And I don't know how useful I would be for feedback on it in that case. I haven't looked at D&D 5 stuff for like 9 years. Look up Zephyr Strike and Searing Smite. It's a ranger spell. Okay. What does it do? I guess I could Google it or something, but... Columbo's good. Anyone remember the time Traveler Show 7 Days, where the guy goes back in time to try and resolve the problem, but only has 7 days figured out? Actually, no. I don't remember that show, Manzak. I remember the show where the Dodge Viper turned, or where the car turned into a Dodge Viper. I remember that one. And I remember VR5. Is that about the era of show, or is it earlier than that? Like Knight Rider and stuff? Zephyr Strike, first level transmutation. Bonus action. Concentration up to 1 minute. You move like the wind. For the duration, your movement doesn't provoke opportunity attacks. Once before the spell ends, you can give yourself advantage on 1 weapon attack roll on your turn. Deals extra d8. Whenever you hit or miss, your walking speed increases by 30 feet until the end of that turn. Okay. Neat. So a very tiny amount of bonus damage, but you have advantage. It's a bonus action, so you can still attack afterwards. Lasts a minute. But it's once before the spell ends, and then it goes away. And then you can scoot. You electric slide afterwards 30 feet. I don't know if I like Zephyr Strike. Do people... Is Zephyr Strike a, like, famously good spell that people like for Ranger? I'm looking for the context of it. It seems kind of like... Is it a level... I'm assuming it's a level 1 spell. Yeah, first level, it says at the top. It's like fine for a level 1 spell? Okay. And so the theme for you is bonus action spell, tiny bonus, low level. Fighting type spell. Are you trying to convert what Smite is into what Zephyr Strike is? Is Culver's the best regional fast food joint? No. It's pretty good, though. Their ice cream's pretty good. Their root beer's pretty good. They got fried cheese curds, which are pleasing. It's like just about the reason you would go to Culver's probably is because, first of all, it's a clear step up from McDonald's, Burger King, you know, Wendy's, that kind of shit. It's still obviously a fast food place, but it's a step up from there. And they got cheese curds and decent ice cream, I guess. So, that's pretty good. The best regional fast food? Nah. But it's above the lower rung, you know. Searing Smite once before the spell ends. When you hit a creature with a melee weapon attack, you cause your weapon to flare with white hot intensity, and the attack deals an extra d6. Igniting flames. Start of each of its turns until the spell ends, the target must make a con save. On failed, takes another. Success, no longer on fire. Okay. My question is, why the change? I see Searing Smite. You're smiting someone, you're using a spell slot. I assume it's a bonus action like the other one is. And they start on fire for a little while. It's a con save, so maybe not too long. But it does like a d6. Okay. I see that you get to choose when you use it. It's not the next time, like the ranger one is. It's you choose the moment you use it, I suppose. Was this a holiday to Japan, or did you move out there? Asks Roland Rathass. Good question. No, I found this on YouTube. There's a channel that does these, and they're cool with people just showing them on stream. You know, my intention is in kind of a soothing way while we just talk about stuff. And so I have a few of them. I got a Switzerland one. I got a few different Japanese ones. I just think it's kind of relaxing to watch somebody walk around some foreign place while we chat. You know, there isn't really a lot of high energy going on in this webcam, right? And so I'm giving you guys something to look at besides my ugly mug. And be like, just slow down, you know, if you feel like it. Whenever you hit with a melee attack, you deal an extra d4 damage. That'd be your added change. Seems fine. Yeah. Scales better, right? It scales up as you get more attacks. Feels more like a flaming sword in a way, rather than a single event. Maybe the reason that all the smite spells feel like a single event is because the smite action itself is like one thing, right? It's not like transmutate the sword into a flaming sword necessarily. It's more like this one hit, and then it has aftershocks. And so maybe that's the defense. If I'm supposed to be the one to defend the way the smite spell currently works, is that would be mine. I don't have a horse in this race, really. I think it's cool to have a flaming sword and have it do more damage every time you hit something. I think that's cool. Yeah, but they currently are crap. That is true. If the design goal is to make them exciting and good and fun, then now we can talk. Because this whole time I've kind of been waiting for you, and really it's my fault for not asking you. What's your intention here? Are we trying to make these good or fun? Or do you think they need to be nerfed or something like that? And so now that I know that the goal is, can we give them a reason to exist? A raison d'etre, if you will. Then I think D4 is piddly, whatever. Even for a level 1 spell. D6 every hit. Have it last a while. That's fun. It scales. And I like level 1 spells that scale. It scales with how many times you can hit in a round, which increases as a paladin and a ranger as you level up. Plus there's a cool little visual thing that's happening. I always found the paladin smite stuff to be weird because it cannibalizes your spell casting slots, and I strongly dislike that. You have to choose if you want to cast a spell or if you want to use a class ability to like hit harder or do more damage or something. I don't like that they both pull from the same resource. Now, if I was a game designer, I would say something about meaningful choice and this and that, but I don't agree with the way that that is applied to this situation. You already have a meaningful choice. Which spell you cast out of all the different spells you have, not whether or not you should use a resource for either all of the spells and which spell you should cast, or just this one hit. I think you already have meaningful choice when you're choosing what spell to cast. I don't know that you need to put a pin on it, I guess. Like a thumbtack. It's the same reason I don't really like when you get level 4, you have to choose between a feat or stat bonus. And I think the meaningful choice there is a little overburdened as well. I think the meaningful choice is already there, and it's which feat to take, which fun feat to take. Not if you should have the mechanically superior generally, but boring choice. Or the which feat to take choice. I think it's kind of like overtaxed. You should get both. And then you still have meaningful choice then. Which feat do I take, right? I think you should get both. And now that we've talked about that, it reminds me of another thing I don't like about 5.24, as I guess we'll call it now. There's a benefit to having spellcasting play into smites in that it blends the spellcasting and fighting sides of the half-caster. Must they be blended? I wonder. I mean, you can have abilities and then you can have spells. I don't know that... Must they be mixed? Sometimes I like a... You know, got some pan-fried bluegill and then some mashed potato on the side. I don't need to cut up the fish and stir it into a hobo dinner, you know. I don't have to do that. You could. But I think it makes the smite almost a little bit less special in a way. To have it just be yet another spell, in a sense. Could I share with you my Paladin doc? No. I like chatting and talking, no big deal. No hate. But I gotta bring up the Dungeons and Dragons PHB and read through it on stream for the next like 3 hours. So I got enough D&D to look through already with a stream title and everything. No big deal. Off topic question, but is HeyWoah Universes beyond hater? Yeah, obviously. Sort of grotesque greed that irreparably destroyed the identity of Magic the Gathering, that it will never really be able to fully get back. They sold it in both meanings. And you could say that the Magic story was never good, or very well received, or perhaps even interesting. But that's shifting the goalposts. It was theirs. It was its own thing. And now it's Thor's hammer cracking a McDonald's food token to cast a legendary creature sponsored by DraftKings. Some fucking Final Fantasy Buster Sword equipped to it. The identity of the game is shattered forever in a way that really does harm it. And Transformers shit. and mechanically unique cards as well, that they said they wouldn't do but just did anyway. And it started with maybe the worst one, which was Walking Dead. And so yeah, I am a Universes Beyond hater. However, I'm not a protester. I like Magic. I think it's maybe the best game ever made. It's very fun to play. And Universes Beyond is never stopping, and it's probably not even going to slow down, perhaps. The cat's out of the bag. It's too late. Either you're going to be mad and old man yells at cloud forever, or quit, or just fucking deal with it. And I have chose the latter. Just fucking deal with it. They printed the One Ring. Card's really good. I put it in my commander decks. Oh well. You know, what are you gonna do? They made a Universe Beyond of Assassin's Creed. A fucking awful game series that's bad. And I hate. Well, I don't really hate it, because I just sort of was allowed to ignore it as one of the many bad game series. And now it has Magic cards. Yippee. You know, alright. That's just what it is now. Fine. I still like Magic. They did a big survey, and they didn't need to do this survey, as an aside. They didn't need to do this survey, but it produced the completely expected result. I didn't need to hear what it was, but I heard it anyway, and I'm like, yep, that's what I would have thought. Mark Rosewater talked about it. He said that they did, according to all their internal and external marketing and data collection and all this other stuff, the number of people who want nothing to do with Universe Beyond at all, 7%. And that seems right to me. Because everyone I know and everyone I've ever talked to hates it. But you are surrounded by people who agree with you. And so you have to take that into account. 1. And 2, you also have to take into account that the reality of the situation is that although the number of people that want nothing at all to do with Universe Beyond is 7%, my guess is, and I'm making this number up, the remaining, we'll say 80%. I'm inflating this number so it's even more apparent. I bet the default opinion is, I hate Universes Beyond and don't like it. Unless the universe is the one that I like. Then I'll buy it. I bet that's it. I bet that's it. It's as simple as that. Everybody hates Universes Beyond except the one that gets them. That hooks them. The one they can't say no to. Alright? I bet that's it. And that's all she wrote. I'm actually surprised that 7% number is as high as it is. The people who steadfastly say no to Universes Beyond from a principled point of view, not even for things they like. You know? Scary Soft, thanks for being a first-time chatter. You like the fantasy universes that fit LR? Yeah, Lord of the Rings, D&D, they're not too different than Magic. Your Little Pony being meta would make you quit for sure. They did do My Little Pony, but that was in a previous era when they didn't quite have the gall to make them legal in play. A better time, a more civilized era. But like the second one they ever did was Fortnite, so it's over. It is all over. People have this idea that Magic the Gathering is super fantasy, but it's really not. There's a lot of sci-fi in it. And there always has been. Urza and Mishra, the very first two Planeswalker brothers that had their duels. A lot of sci-fi-ish fantasy has been and continues to be there. Robots, entire planes made out of metal. Stuff like that. Phyrexian tech, yeah. Bad or no, the 40k commander got you back into Magic after 10 years, so you'd say it worked? Yep. They'll find something that hits everybody eventually. They just gotta keep doing it. And if 7% of people are completely correct, by the way, but standing in the center of a raging waterfall, eventually they'll get swept away. It's fine, I like the game. I have fun. Some of the cards are good, I buy them. Never buy packs, you're a sucker if you do. But, yeah. Universes Beyond is gross and sort of pathetic in a way, but doesn't matter, game's still good. No use dwelling on it. Age of Sigmar UB when it's not popular enough. It's called Universes Beyond, but what it should really be called is popular IPs. And AOS is not that. It's more popular than Fantasy was, and it's pretty successful in the wargame community in a way. But 40k is in the popular lexicon. It's in the popular awareness, you know. That's a different category. When are they going to do League of Legends? I don't know. They did Fortnite, so, you know, they've already done one bad game. No way, they did Assassin's Creed. They've done 2 bad games. So they can do a third with League of Legends. Go ahead. It's too bad the art for League is so bad, but I'm sure they can do something with it. Or maybe they can't. The Miku stuff didn't look any good. Yeesh. Alright, enough magic, enough fun, chat. I need you guys to calm down. Hasbro's just an indie company, right? No. They're actually dying, Hasbro. Magic is the singular thing that's making them any money at all. All their other products are trash. From a business perspective, and they're a sinking ship. And as they sink, their clawed hands are squeezing the neck of Magic and forcing it to release as much as it possibly can, no matter what sort of exhaustion their customers feel. But such is the way for a publicly traded company that has 1.5 good games. I know you were being sarcastic. I was playing along with it. Anyway, I'm going to cut the commercial and let's do some Dungeons & Dragons 5.24, which I think is, somebody said in chat that that's what people are calling it, which I think is kind of clever. Because it implies that it's not a new edition. It implies that it's not quite a 5.5, but the year it came out is 2024, and I think 1 D&D or D&D 2024 is what they want you to call it, so I think 5.24 is a clever name for it, as I have come to expect from tabletop players. Anyway, we're typing good, sure, bad, alright? We'll use the red pen if they do a bad job, and we'll use the green pen If they do a good job, then we'll use the yellow pen if I don't care. Actually, if I don't care, I'm probably not going to write it down. So maybe I'll type, maybe the sure pile will be pretty small, who knows. Anyhow, please enjoy a word from our sponsors.
Introducing the best news for ice cream lovers since ice cream began. New Simple Pleasures. It's everything you love about ice cream, but no point. New Simple Pleasures is unbelievably rich, incredibly creamy, and absolutely top. Oh yeah. Because New Simple Pleasures is made with all natural pure athlete, yeah. Instead of point. New delicious all natural Simple Pleasures. There's never been an ice cream like it.
There's never been an ice cream like it. All right. We're in. What's this button do? Oh, that's right. I always forget what that button does. Anyway, welcome back to content time. I'm going to scroll through here just a little bit to jog my memory and work on our little 1D&D react. Well, I guess here. Well, they're fixed. Right? We'll fix it. All right. The stats seem unbalanced. Dex is too important. Death saves should be con. Unconscious into heal 1 hit point. Into snap back up meta. Didn't much care for it in 5. It seems to be still around, but we'll pause. We can change that later if it's not. You still have to choose between a feat or a stat increase, which I disagree with. The meaningful choice is already there insofar as what feat to choose. I think this is a friction point that is unnecessary. Just give the players both. Give them a feat and a stat increase every time. Is this unbalanced? No, because every character gets that. The party is balanced. Does this make the party slightly stronger? Yeah. Is that a problem? No. Secret GM info right now. However strong the party is, you just make encounters for it. It's that easy. Also, the challenge rating recommendations were wrong in 3.0. We're wrong in 3.5. We're wrong in 3.7.5 with Savage Species and stuff. I didn't play 4th, so I don't know, aside from one game. And the CR was wrong in 5th. So, yeah, you're just going to have to do it manually, like always. Death saves aren't con, they are not. It's a flat roll. Which it doesn't matter too much, but I feel like con should do that, right? Your constitution should determine how apt you are at surviving like a critical hospitalization or a, he's seizing, right? Something like that, entering shock. In other words, not dying. You could say that your heroism and force of personality or something could keep you alive, but that sounds a whole lot like someone who has a high charisma trying to pull one over on you. Don't listen to him. You can describe it any way you want, but I see through your game. Anyway. Ability check saving throws. One thing that I'm looking out for is in 5th, I found the dispersion of saving throws you are asked to make between stats to not be particularly equal. It would be neat if they were, I guess. Advantage, disadvantage. These are, should I say minor? Okay. Am I already changing the table? Should there be like bad, meaningful, and then bad nitpick? I think so. I feel like that's a meaningful distinction. Like, death save should be con. Basically, who cares? You know? But unbalanced stats, dex feels too important. Yeah, I think so. Unconscious, heal 1 hit point, snap back up meta. Don't like that. Like, it becomes how you play. You still have to choose between a feat or a stat increase. I think that is major. But this thing is like, whatever. Another nitpick is advantage versus disadvantage. If you have advantage for, or maybe I should change these numbers around because it makes my case sound better. All right. If you have advantage for 5 different great reasons, and you have disadvantage for 1 reason, then you just straight roll. I think that's weird. I think they should cancel out on equal amounts on either side, and whatever you're left with, that's which way the light switch works. If you have advantage for 5 reasons and disadvantage for 1, then I think you should still have advantage. It moves it down to 4 versus 0, right? They kind of like cancel out. A little stoichiometry over here. I think that's how it should work. I feel it's not terrifically important. It's a nitpick. You can just change it, right? But I think that's weird. The devs think that there are people so paralyzed by choice that they need to have an out so they don't have to pick a feat. Have they said this? I know they probably didn't say this, you're paraphrasing. But maybe if they feel that way, then you gotta have, I don't know, have some faith in your product and know your audience. I think that's perhaps a know your audience issue. If you're concerned that your players are leveling up in a tabletop role-playing game and they can't be bothered to make one choice, the insurmountable paralyzation of making a choice in a week for a game, how do they get through life? When they go to McDonald's and the person asks them what do they want, do they start crying? Collapse into a heap? How does this go to the barber? Hey, what do you want? And they just start shaking. How does their life work? DDRPGs, the audience is like giga nerds who kind of love this stuff, I guess. Perhaps that's telling that is the audience they're clearly trying to capture. Are people so normal that they don't want to make any decisions in a decision-making game for decision makers? Now, the way you phrased it is designed to get me riled up about it, but have some faith in your product and realign yourself. Back when we still played 5th, your group liked the stack comparison, advantage versus disadvantage. Also had 2-up disadvantage meant you don't even roll. It just like basically auto fails or something like that. I'm not suggesting that if you have advantage 4 times, you roll 4d20. That would be an interesting house rule. Like, stupidly fun, but probably not okay, you know? Like rolling 5d20 every time and figuring out, because then the meta is how many different ways can I get advantage on the same thing and stacking all of them, you know? But it is kind of silly when you think about it. In BG3, the barbarian with berserker subclass made only like 2 decisions after picking the whole class. Yeah. Your brother is just such a character. Always picks human fighter, greatsword man. Only took stat boosts. His catchphrase is click and do damage. I mean, some people just like that, you know. But I don't know that everyone needs to suffer to accommodate a person who wants to make no decisions ever. Right? That your brother can just ask you what feat to take. Or they could actually, because they do this a little bit in the book, they're like, you can do anything you want, but we recommend this or that. We read a little bit of that. They could just do that for the fighter greatsword man. Pick whatever you want. We recommend great sword swinger. You swing your great sword so great that when it swords people, it swords as people an extra time. Like, all right, I'll take that one. So you don't need to think, you just add extra dice to all of your hits or something. Ability checks. Alternative attributes to certain skill rolls is still pretty fuzzy and kind of optional, and they basically just say ask the GM. I wish they would have been maybe bold and daring with that a little bit. Tech rolls, proficiency. Proficiency goes up too slow. I know that they do that to avoid scaling problems, but it's too obvious. Actions, bonus actions, reactions. Now you only get a bonus action if something gives you one. Sure. You can only take one reaction. Sure. Everything's an action now and you just move for free. Sure. Social interaction. Exploration, hiding, interacting with objects, hazards, travel. Actions slightly streamlined, sure. They mentioned cover a bit more, good. Combat. Attacks of opportunity are weird and awkward. The concept is strange and awkward. I would have preferred scrapping it and coming up with a different system. It almost feels like something that's added to the game to justify having a battle map. The whole system of attacks of opportunity is strange and bizarre to me, and unrealistic. Like, the whole situation is unrealistic, and then the way it operates is even more unrealistic. You have to suspend your disbelief a lot during it. And I wish they would have overhauled that. I might even more think that it's bad. It's like, it's a mechanic that seems to be invented backwards. Like they're like, how do we make dexterous, fast, agile people special? I know, we'll invent an attack of opportunity system and then let them ignore it. Is what it feels like to me. And I know this is an old system. 3.0 came out with it, but it was weird then too. And it's always been awkward to me. Melee and ranged attacks, sure, mounted underwater. Damage and healing. Critical hits, damage types, resistance and vulnerability. Double resistance should mean a quarter damage. And double vulnerability should mean triple. Damn. Or just, maybe I should just say stack. They should stack. If you're super vulnerable, you should be super vulnerable. If you're super resistant, you should be super resistant. It gives people who accidentally found themselves with resistance twice, you know, a little something for their time and effort. Or their ability. Instead of just kind of ignoring it. You don't get that. Don't worry about it. Alright. Immunity. Healing, dropping, temp, conditions. I think it's the other way around, that battle mats came first, and then they needed a reason why every monster didn't just ignore the tanky fighter and beat on the squishy characters. Well, it depends on the game you were in. This was a big discussion point back in the days, you know. And we always said that, why don't they go after the priest? You know, why don't you kill the healer? You know, why don't you go after the wizard? It depends on the intelligence of the thing you're fighting. If you're fighting humans, they're smart, so they go after the casters. If you're fighting animals, they're generally dumb, and so they fight the fighters. And if you want to mechanically force the party roles, then you run the risk of becoming World of Warcraft and granting sword and shield fighters just like a taunt ability, like it was a video game. And everyone at the time made like a Dan's Gaming kind of disgusted face, like a taunt ability. Like, wow, gross. Surely there's a better answer to that. And I guess there wasn't. Anyway, I have it be a function of the intelligence of the things that they're fighting. In real life, you can stand in the way and stop A from getting to B. Yeah, you can do that on a battle mat. You can do that in Theater of the Mind, you know. Oh yeah, I suppose if it's not your turn, you just dance around frozen enemies, you know. And it does have to be a game, as much as, you know, sometimes we don't like it to be. But it does have to work on a turn-based system. So you could say, like, you know, you have like a push-shove action, right? You could be like, block the way. It doesn't cost anything. You're just, you know, you're intercepting. You're right here. You can't get through. They're trying to stop you. So you could come up with extra rules for that, though. I suppose that's more rules, but so are attacks of opportunity. Maybe it's just the simplest thing. And then straight up to create character, level advancements, starting at higher levels, multi-classing. Oh yeah. Bad. Point buy and default stat line. Soulless. Gross. It's like Point buy and a default stat line is the kind of thing I would invent if I was designing a Dungeons and Dragons tournament. Like, just totally missing the point, I guess. Yeah. Gross. It's fine that they're options, but have some humanity. Where's your excitement? Where's your interest? Surely a heart beats. Roll those dice. Choosing the actual just default stat line. Man. I don't get it. Every character pushed on an assembly line out of the same factory. Carbon copies. Have to be perfectly balanced. Otherwise, the multiplayer video game that you're playing. Starting higher levels, multi-classing, trinkets. Okay. I like trinkets. Kept trinkets. Good. Kept trinkets. Fun. I love the little trinkets you can start with. It takes like 2 whole pages up. But it's just wonderful. They give you all these little ideas of funny little things you can have. Oh, you have a broken shard of a skull of something, or like a die with all ones on it, or a piece of paper from a famous book. I think that stuff is really cool, and it gets the juices flowing. I love how they kept it. I even hope that they expand on it somehow, that we read into that. Do you roll stats before or after choosing class? Oh, after, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, after choosing a class, for sure. Dice rolls run into the same problem as racial stats and non-optimal stat arrays for your class. 3 style stat bonuses. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying roll for your stats straight down the line. I'm saying make a stat line and assign them how you wish. Yeah, this isn't like I'm rolling for strength now, and you roll a 9, and you wanted to be a fighter, and you're just screwed now. No. That's just as silly, perhaps even more silly, than point buy and default stat line. Point buy and default stat line is soulless and boring and bland, the gray mush of gaming. But it's not as absurd as I want to be a wizard, and then you just roll straight down the line, roll in intelligence. Fuck, a 7. Well, character ruined. No. I'm issuing hot takes, but I'm not ridiculous. And if you're concerned about party balance with random stat rolls, then good. It means you're thinking about it, because that is potentially a point of contention there. But I have this system that I've used a lot in the past, and it is, since everyone is rolling characters at the same time, and you want the party to be balanced, that's important, right? Everybody rolls their stat line. 4d6, drop the lowest, just like Richard Garfield intended. Right there at the table. Whoever rolled the best stat line among all the players, that's the stat line everyone gets to use. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. It's like you're drafting Magic cards. It all comes from the same pool of draft cards, so they're balanced right. But you still got the fun of fate and chance and rolling physical dice instead of just choosing something from a list. Anyway, I'll get off my soapbox and then step right back on it for the next thing here. It's also just a fun social event rolling. It's like no stakes gambling. Yeah, and to me, this system alleviates basically all the downsides of random stats that you could think of. The person who just rolled bad and now their character is net weaker in a real way than everybody else. Or it's even like everybody rolls their stat line, and so one person rolled really bad. Well, they feel bad, one, normally, because they hurt themselves by doing that. But because they're adding it to everybody else's, they might feel bad that they brought the group down or something like that. But that's not the case either. If you rolled bad, fine, there's 3 other players. Somebody rolled good, right? And your stats are generally what kind of game is everyone playing? Are you all just actual peasants who are going to do the whole thing, the entire arc, then maybe your stats start low if everybody rolled bad. Maybe you're like, we're doing Disney's Marvel's Dungeons and Dragons where everyone's like a demigod. And so maybe they roll 2 stat lines and pick the best one. You can smooth this over any way you want. It makes a funny thing. And it alleviates I rolled this stat line at home, bro, trust me, That's a lot of 18s, that's a lot of 16s. Everybody rolls at the same, so we're tricking players into rolling in front of you without bringing up the possibility that, we might be fudging them a little bit. So it defeats that potential outcome without even addressing it or accusing it. Disperses it. You have no idea any of this means, and you never played D&D in your life. Mr. Woe's voice is balm for the weary. So apologies for the non-vampiric light mode here on this one. But in old D&D second ed times, you rolled straight down 36 in order and then picked the class to try to make it work. That's how the books told us to do it in AD&D. And I gotta say, our groups, or the people I played with in AD&D, we never did that either. We all did, we never rolled them in order. It was the most house ruled thing ever. I don't think I even met somebody who forced us to roll them straight down the line, even back in the day. But then again, that's just going to be anecdotal. Level advancements starting at high levels, create your character, multi-classing trinkets. Alright. Multi-classing is no longer optional like it technically was in 5th ed. So maybe they'll balance it this time. And then it goes right in the class. Which is, I suppose, proper if you're building a character. But I don't want to go over every class. It would take 7 hours. I want to skip to origins and feats and equipment. Because I thought the backgrounds were the beginnings of kind of a good idea in 5th, but it didn't nearly do enough. It just became like a different way to get 2 skills, whoop-de shit, and like some ability that was clearly meant to be fun, but was often pointless or useless. I liked how they were... I actually liked that about 5th. One of the things was they tried to make backgrounds matter in some way. I thought that was a good idea. Anyway, so I'm skipping the 176 real quick here. We should put air quotes around optional, because they weren't. Feats optional? Jesus. Feats optional. This chapter describes origins. Each part of your character's origin reflects facets. Your character's life, circumstances that started them on the path to adventure. If you choose a background or a species from an older book. See the sidebar. No, I won't. I won't be. Character's background, collection of characteristics that represent the place and occupation that were most formative before your character embarked on a life of adventure. Very carefully worded here. This isn't all that happened in your life. It was just the things that were the most formative, trying to alleviate maybe some paralysis there. Each background includes a brief narrative of what your character's past might have been like. Alter the details of this narrative however you like. Yeah, of course. Of course. Each time, every time. But it's nice to remind them. New players might not know that the secret is you can disregard anything and change anything anytime you like. Just ask the GM. Parts of background. Background includes the following parts. Ability scores. 3 of your character's ability scores. Increase 1 by 2, another 1 by 1, or increase all 3 by 1. None of these increase. Can raise a score above 20. Why? How come? If you get it, why not? Hard cap, boo. I think it's cool that your background gives you some ability scores, because that makes perfect sense. You go to college, you get smarter. You go to the gym, you get stronger. The things you actually do affect your attributes. It makes perfect sense. I like that. I appreciate that. I'm gonna put that in the good section. Makes perfect sense that the things you have done in your life have affected your attributes. I like that. Background gives your character a specialized origin feat. Cool. And it gives you skill proficiencies. Sure. Yeah, just like before. Tool proficiencies, which were basically never fully explained and didn't almost do anything in 5th. It seemed like 1/10 of an idea. So I'm looking forward to reading about them in chapter 6, where hopefully they do something now. And your equipment comes from your background as well. I disagree with that one. I think your equipment should come from your class. But it's not a big deal. If anything, maybe half from your class and half from your background. And perhaps it does. Actually, we could check. When you choose character's species, you determine whether your character is a human or a member of a fantastical species, such as Dragonborn or Gnome. Alright. Different worlds, many kinds of sapient life. Some can trace their origin to a single world, plane of existence, or a god, while others first appeared in multiple realms at once. Spread across the multiverse. Continue. We got a multiverse now. We're addressing it, I guess. Members of most species live for about 80 years, with exceptions noted in the text about the species in the chapter. Aw. Well, surely they'll talk about how elves live like crazy long and dwarves live half of crazy long. Whereas the lifespan, members of all species reach maturity at about the same age. Oh, that's way different than before. Character can be any age that isn't beyond their species' normal lifespan. Says you. Creature type. Every species in this chapter is a humanoid. Playable non-humanoid species appear in other D&D books. Okay. Determines your size. Individuals of the species cover wide range of heights, and then some of them are small or medium. Species determines speed. How come? That's weird. Well, actually, it's not weird. Well, it kind of is. I think that is weird. I always thought your speed should be determined by, if anything, your attributes, which in turn are informed by, background and class and other stuff. I think it's weird that everybody's the same speed. A person with a dexterity of 3 and a dexterity of 30 is the same speed. That's strange. But this is like the Rifts player in me. Each physical character has special traits, unique characteristics based on the physiology or magical nature. Good. They started to generify a lot of this stuff in like a really boring way. So maybe we're moving away from that. You don't get ability scores anymore from your species, which is fucked up. A half giant has the same strength as a pixie. So weird. "16 backgrounds are presented." All right, we got a Wayfarer. That's a new one, I think. Guard. That's a new one, I think. I think these are the two new ones, at least to me. Guard and Wayfarer, I think. If speed were determined by attributes, it would be dexterity. And didn't you already say dexterity did too much? I did, yeah. But if they fixed that, then it would only do too much if they took my advice on dex for speed. And maybe class. So there you go. Gnome, dwarf, and halfling forever given speed handicap for no real compensation. Yeah. Yeah. And it's a lot less too. Wasn't it 20 feet? A full 30% slower. Guide is also new. Oh, I didn't see guide. I missed it. Yeah, guide is new. Small legs mean you don't run far. Just saying. Well, of course, yeah. But like an orc is stronger than a gnome with muscle mass and skeletal structure double that, possibly even triple that by volume of a gnome, and yet same strength. So I guess how much of how much sensicalness are we ignoring, right? Acolyte. Int, wisdom, charisma. Alright, I need to reread this section now. Increase one by 2 and the other one by 1. Or increase all 3. Oh, okay. Alright, so you get 3 1s or a 2 and a 1. But none of them can increase above 20 because no fun is allowed. You can't. No fun. Have to cap it. So int, wisdom, charisma, acolyte. You get magic initiate, cleric, insight and religion, calligrapher's supplies. Choose A or B. Either calligrapher's supplies, which is your tool proficiency, so just supplies. Book prayers, holy simple parchment, robe, 8 GP or 50 GP. Someone is probably going to figure this out, but I wonder if these are the same amount of money or not. Stat increases tied to background instead of race is a really good change, in your opinion. I think it is 50% of a good change. It makes perfect sense to me that the things you do during your life obviously affect your ability scores. You go to the gym, you get stronger. You go to the library, you get smarter. But removing it from species is dumb. It makes a lot of sense that it would be nature and nurture. Orcs are just stronger than gnomes. People who go to the gym are stronger than people who don't. Put them both together. It should be attributes over here and over here. Straight moving them is strange. I guess they just had to make backgrounds worth more somehow. But I don't know that they needed to take it from over here. Kind of dilutes the interestingness of the different fantastic creatures you can be, you know. makes them all feel like basically humans, you know, which is boring. You devoted yourself to service in a temple, either nestled in a town or secluded in a sacred grove. There you perform rites in honor of a god or pantheon. You served under a priest and studied religion. All right. Yeah, that's great. So you get Magic Initiate Cleric. You have mental ability scores. This is essentially the library that you went to. And then you get like Calligrapher's supplies, which maybe do something. Oh, big thumb? We're thumbing. You like the idea of species defines your max attribute and background defines your starting background? Yeah, that could work too. That could work too. However you want to do it. I want to keep the max amount of flavor in all these fantastic races. It's the backgrounds that were too generic and boring. But I'm usually in favor of pumping all this stuff up. Cap of 20, no fun allowed, boo. We boo caps. So no attribute bonuses for species kind of dilutes these fantastic creatures. Kind of makes them a little bland. A little unrealistic. But backgrounds affects attributes, which is very good. Makes perfect sense. So we're like exactly one step forward, one step back at the same time. All right. Fad alert. If anything, you would think species should maybe define the minimum. Yeah, maybe. With enough talent and effort, etc., then biology can be overcome. Well, certainly not, right? Like, you can lift weights as much as you want. You won't be as strong as an elephant. Or a sperm whale, right? Like, there really are limits. But it's a game of fantasy and superheroes and stuff. So we mostly ignore that shit and have people pick up cars if they're strong enough and throw them at people and punch a horse in the face, right? So, you know, I think you should only be a slave to realism if it's a problem, but ignore it if it's going to be cool, right? But then again, I guess we're nitpicking nitpicks now, right? You think you could still punch a horse in the face? Sure, your hand might not survive, but you could do it. You hate to be the Pathfinder fixes this guy, but you like how Pathfinder does it. How do they do it? I'm curious. Yeah. I'm not looking for like non-stop Pathfinder commentary in the D&D show, but if D&D did it a certain way that I don't really care to see, you know, it's like, oh, I don't think they did a good job, then I'm very interested in how some other game did it, for sure. Don't feel like that guy, in other words. It took me a while to get to that conclusion, but species still get racial abilities too, though. It's just numbers that changed. It sucked. Playing a half-orc and being shit at being a wizard. Yeah. Because you didn't choose the optimal thing, I guess, you know. It makes being an orc wizard very unique and special. Like, who ever sees an orc wizard? Like, if there's an orc wizard, that dude is badass, right? He bucked the trends and did the unlikely crazy thing. That guy must be really good, actually, you know, or higher level, and plus, like, you can make up for stat bonuses later, I suppose, which is sort of a knock against all of this quibbling, but Pathfinder racial feats idea is super cool. I remember those. In Shadowrun, you had a troll decker. Dude, in Shadowrun, I think second edition, they had a troll, wizard, like as one of the default characters that you could play, the main NPCs. And he wasn't as good as a optimized race wizard, but he was way more interesting and cool because of it. Like, you're not being 100% optimal, but you're choosing to be interesting instead of optimal. Sometimes, I mean, they don't have to butt heads, but sometimes they do. A charlatan, Dex Con Charisma. I thought we were supposed to be heroes in this game. You know, they don't even let you play an evil character unless you ask the GM. I'm putting this in sure. Yeah, I basically agree. They spell it out though, and I forgot to type that. Uh-huh. You know, like the idea of a high dex Fremen elf barbarian, yeah. This is basically how it works anyway, you know, they just typed it out. I appreciate it a little bit. Deception, sleight of hand, forgery kit, choose A or B. Forgery costume, find clothes. Alright. Skilled. Your feat is skilled, and then skill proficiencies. Alright. Triple skillies. Dex Con Charisma, huh? Don't we all love the one player rules chaotic neutral? I'm not evil, bro. Trust me. Yeah. I don't think it's worth mentioning here, right? But yeah, chaotic neutral it's a stereotype or maybe a meme or something that chaotic neutral is the I wasn't allowed to play evil, but I still will. Having played the majority of my Dungeons and Dragons between like 96 and 2010, it was a stereotype for a reason. Do you want Kenders? God, no. The worst part of Dragonlance. What's the difference between a charlatan and a criminal? One who got caught? Alright. Dexterity, Constitution, Intelligence. Alert. Oh, alertness plus 5 initiative? I wonder what it'll do. Sleight of hand and stealth. Thieves' tools. You eked out a living. This guy's eking. Criminal. I thought we were supposed to be heroes. Anyway. Entertainer. Strength, dex, charisma. Oh, strength, like you're a strong man or something, lifting rocks and stuff. Cool. But you're always a musician. Oh, okay. This is just, they might as well call this bard, right? Pick a musical instrument. I wonder if it does anything now. Farmer. Strength, con, wisdom. Farmer's wisdom. They did it. All right. I was gonna say, if farmer wasn't able to choose wisdom, they missed a chance for a good saying or pun. Toughness, feat. Carpenter's tools. Animal handling and nature. Animal handling, a feat that has no reason to exist because we already have persuasion. Just roll it against a creature instead of a humanoid. But they needed druid and barbarian to have a skill, so they invented that. Guard. Strength, int, whiz. Athletics and perception. Ooh. And alert? Oh, damn. Alright, guard looking kind of nice. Athletics, perception, alertness. And you can still take intelligence? Yo, alright. Guard is looking kind of nice. A gooey day. Dex, con, whiz. Magic initiate, druid, stealth, and survival. Those are good too. Guide's kind of nice. I love what great artwork this is. How nice. I really like the art in this book. I don't mean to disparage Wayne Reynolds, but I'm happy we're past that era. How lovely. Hermit, it's me. It's my background. That's me. Con, wisdom, charisma. Oh, fair enough. Feet healer, not quite. Medicine and religion. Herbalism kit. Talking about my herb kit? Glad they didn't use AI art, because they seem to be thinking about it. Surely not in the Dungeons & Dragons book. The subcontractors who probably weren't told anything or thought they could get away with it, and some of the marketers online, perhaps. But the people doing real work, surely not. Alright, I like half of Hermit. I like the stat line, but healer, medicine, religion, herbalism kit. I take offense as a real-life hermit myself. Although I have studied religion. Merchant. Why do you get Constitution as a merchant? I get intelligence, charisma. You say you're a hermit, yet you have traveler's clothes. Curious. Yeah, true. Merchant gets navigator's tools? Oh, I see. They mean like sailor. Like the type of merchant that, you know, sails around Africa to get to the Silk Road or something like that, right? So they're navigating. Animal handling and persuasion, lucky. Noble, strength, really? Disagree. Intelligence, disagree. Charisma, sure, I guess. History and persuasion. Choose a gaming set. Let's go. Yo, Noble's no longer rich. You only start with 50 gold now. The one benefit of Noble before was that you were loaded, and you started with, like, slightly more gold than everyone in a way that didn't matter at all. That's too bad. Nobles include knights. Oh, sure, yeah, alright. In which case, then it does make sense. Is Warhammer a gaming set? Sure. Sage. Constitution, intelligence, wisdom. Magic and it wizard. Let's go. Arcana and history. Let's go. More calligraphy. Alright. Yo, this one's kind of nice too. Oh, never mind. There is a sailor. There's already a sailor. So that other description I had didn't make any sense. Strength, dex, whiz. I would say intelligence more than wisdom. But whatever. If you have to choose a mental stat. Tavern brawler. Acrobatics and perception? Yeah, sure. Scribe. Dex. The dexterity of writing. Sure. Yeah. Intelligence, wisdom. Yeah. You're skilled. Investigation and perception. Yo. Really, really useful skill proficiencies here in the scribe section. Soldier. Strength, dex, con. Savage attacker. No discipline anymore. Soldiers these days. Athletics and intimidation. But they get a gaming set. They know. They knew. Being a soldier background and getting a gaming set is very realistic. Let's just put it that way. And Wayfarer. Wayfarer's Bauble. Dex Wiz Ka. You're lucky. Insight and Stealth. Insight's good. Stealth is good. Bunch of thief stuff. So you're like a rogue. A country rogue. And that's it. Okay. Huge complaint. Not only did they not give more of these or expand on the fun little background abilities you used to get, but they got rid of them entirely. They're not here. That's bullshit. That's shit. This is a big deal. That sucks. Huge complaint. The backgrounds used to have, admittedly, a mostly useless kind of whatever ability, but it was cool that you got one, and I was looking forward to the next edition, giving you more choices of them per background, making them a little more useful, making them more interesting, just sort of expanding on that, and they just got rid of them entirely. That sucks. Big downside. Is this PDF in the Discord? It is. Although you didn't hear it from me. Yeah, I just want more. The fluff abilities are mostly mechanically useless, but they were just kind of good role playing and trying to use them. Yeah, I think they really should have doubled down on them instead of get rid of them. You don't have to just add one thing and subtract something else. You are in control. You can give them two things. Anyway, I'm disappointed by that. Feet for free? People always take the background that goes well with their class anyway, kind of pointless. Yeah, I actually want them to be less tied to the classes, but I think that doesn't go in bad. That's a nitpick. I think the backgrounds feel way too designed for a particular class or two. They're too railroady. Have it really be a background that you could have been a wizard farmer, you could have been a warrior farmer. It's sort of the same complaint with species stuff that you guys were talking about before. Why should I be punished for being an orc wizard? Well, why should I be punished for being a farmer wizard? Can you not rise above your lowly birth? You know, I don't like that. I think they really dropped the ball on backgrounds, even though they did give them ability scores, which is cool. Yeah, they shifted it from racism to classism. That's actually funny. You don't mean to imply that they shifted stats from... Well, they don't call them races anymore either. Oh, no. That can't be the reason they did that. That'd be so embarrassing for them. I didn't even consider that. How much are the designers of D&D on Twitter? Could it be the case? I'm going to push that aside for now. If it is, it's... Their heart is in the right place, but it's really stupid. As with many things. It's been confirmed? Oh no, come on, guys. It's a fantasy game of fake people. They're orcs. Elves are supposed to be dexterous. What's the problem with that? That makes them interesting. I don't know. I guess, yeah, you have to call it species now instead of race. I bet it really was for that reason. How embarrassing. Anyway, species description. We kept Azamar. Cool. And I learned here is I was kind of pronouncing it wrong. Supposedly it's Azamar, not Azamar. I'd always called them Azamar. I guess they're Azamar. Ah, yes. Are mortals who carry a spark of the upper planes within their souls. Whether descended from angelic being or infused with celestial power, you can fan that spark to bring light, healing, and heavenly fury. Okay, so they don't call them races anymore, and they removed their stat bonuses. But these are the chosen people who literally descend from gods, from angels. God's literal chosen ones. Okay, I mean, choose your battles, I suppose. It doesn't matter, it's fine. Now, it's too easy to make fun of them over that. Everybody chill. Sorry, God's chosen people. They have wings, they're literally angels. Alright, medium or small. Oh, you can just choose. You can be a small Asmar. That's kind of cool. I think that's neat. As an Asmar, you have these special traits. Resistance to necrotic damage and radiant damage. Dark Vision 60. As a magic action, you touch a creature, hopefully with consent, and roll a number of d4 is equal to your proficiency bonus. Oh, the number of d4 is equal to prop bonus is fun. Hey, that's a cool way of doing it because +2 is boring, but rolling 2 d4s is a little more fun. It's like a decent idea, right? Creature regains a number of hit points equal to the total roll. Once you use this trait, you can't use it again. Finish along, okay. Magic action. The Light Bearer. You know the light cantrip. Charisma is your spellcasting ability for it. When you reach character level 3, you can transform as a bonus action using one of the options below. Choose the option each time you transform. Oh, each time. Cool, you can mix it up. Damn, I thought we were going to get boring races. I'm sorry, species. Don't cancel me. But look at this, we're getting fun abilities and stuff. Lasts for 1 minute or until you end it. No action required. You can't, so once per long rest. Once on each of your turns before the transformation ends, you can deal extra damage to one target when you deal damage to it with an attack or spell. Oh, or a spell even. Nice. Extra damage equals your proficiency bonus, and the extra damage's type is either necrotic for necrotic shout or radiant for heavenly wings. Alright, you get Gabriel wings. Sweet. You have fly speed equal to your speed. Sure. Inner radiance. Searing light temporarily radiates from your eyes and mouth. For the duration, you shed bright light 10 foot. Dim additional 10. End of each of your turns, each creature within 10 takes radiant damage equal to your proficiency bonus, so 2. End of each of your turns, alright? So you are dealing extra damage to one target when you deal damage to it with an attack. Once on each of your turns, okay? So you do +2 damage once on your turn, and then end of your turn 2 to everybody within 10. Or you have wings. Probably wings. Your eyes briefly become pools of darkness and flightless wings sprout from your back temporarily. Don't rub it in. You didn't choose wings. You don't get them. Flightless wings. Bah. Creatures other than your allies within 10 must succeed on a charisma saving throw. 8 plus charisma. Or have the frightened condition. It's a pity that it's like automatically charisma, so if you're not a charisma caster, it kind of sucks, right? But I feel like we're half in, half out of that whole thing. New rules for lots of the races in late 5e made a lot more of them fun, even when they lost the stuff. Hard-locked paladin race. Having wings is really good once per day. To be TBH, I like the wings. A frightened condition is a strong condition. I looked it up last time. You have dark vision, which means you are a race that's allowed to be chosen. If you don't have dark vision, get out of my face, right? That's, your resistances are super rare, but maybe they're not in this edition. You can heal. Yeah, I like Azumar. Sorry, Azumar, pardon me. Looks like Final Fantasy Tactics Advance art a little bit. There's a little bit of, not as cartoony, but just a little bit. I like this picture more. This dude is, he's so sick of it. Like, just, whatever. He's had to explain it to them 12 times. This guy's getting mad. Alright, anyway. Dragonborn, please don't have a breath weapon that fucking sucks and is useless forever. Please. Ah! Breath weapon is so stupid on a humanoid. And it never scales, and it always sucks. Please. Alright. They're always medium. Okay, so you can be a tiny Azumar. Right? Like, you can be a little one. Like a cherub or something like that. But Dragonborn have to be big. You can only be medium. I thought this was going to be an everybody thing. You choose your lineage. Cool. Your different colors and everything. That's fun. Breath weapon. God damn it. Fucking stupid. Anyway, maybe it's good. When you take the attack action, you can replace one of your awesome attacks with a 15-foot cone or 30-foot line for everyone to make a really easy dexterity save. Plus your con. Or a d10, and it scales very slowly and always sucks. Cool. Boo. You have resistance to damage type determined by your ancestry. Fun. Dark Vision 60. Good. When you reach character level 5, you can channel Draconic Magic and give yourself temporary flight. As a bonus action, you sprout spectral wings, last for 10 minutes, or until you retract the wings. No action required. During that time, you have a fly speed equal to your speed. Your wings appear to be made of the same energy as your breath weapon. Oh, that's cool flavor. Finally, some flavor. I think you should just get wings. It'd be cool to have dragon people walking around and they just got wings. And how you know that you're an awesome one, i.e. you got to level 5, then you're a dragon person that just always has wings. That'd be cooler. You'd be cooler if you did. Breath weapon, still dumb. Not permanent wings. Dragonborn, I'll give you a 3 out of 10. It's the best I can do. Dwarves in the Forge. Oh, we got some buns. Let's go. Little donuts to go with the smithing. Sure thing. Look at how happy dwarves are. They love to smythe. They're in their element. Yo, the guns are out. Huge. Jesus. I mean, that's a dwarf, though. Alright. Dwarves were raised from the earth in the elder days by a deity of the forge. Yeah, they love that shit. We're medium, they're not small. They're 4 or 5 feet tall, but equally as wide. They're a cube of meat. Dark Vision 120, let's go. Big Dark Vision, good. I appreciate that. I don't know if that's how it was before, but I like how dwarves have extra Dark Vision. That's sweet. Good change. The underdark, subterranean, mountainous stuff, right? Resistant to poison. You have advantage on saving throws you make to avoid or end the poison condition also. Sure, yeah. That's a classic old thing. Your hit point max increases by 1, and it increases by 1 again whenever you gain a level. That's almost insultingly minor. Like, that's... Why did you even write this? You know? Then again, I guess that's the difference between a 14 and a 16 con. And so they are like, oh, we don't give attribute bonuses, okay? That's racist. But increase your hit points by 1, which is kind of the same thing as increased constitution. That's fine. That's fine. They couldn't escape from it. They couldn't think of anything else to do. Stone cutting as a bonus action. Oh, dude, we can fast cutting. Oh, I misread it. It's stone cunning. Pardon me. I thought it was stone cutting. Like as a bonus action, you like immediately cut stone into a statue or something like that. Tremor sense is really good too. Cool. So you're, the classic thing, you're in some dungeon and there's a door, you don't know what's behind it. You can tremor sense if you're a dwarf. That's cool. Okay, so stone cunning is cool. Dwarven toughness is just like having a constitution bonus, except worse. So kind of inconsistent there. Super dark vision is sweet. 30 foot speed. Justice at last. Normal speed for dwarves. And then the classic poison resistance thing. Yeah, tremor sense is super sick. Okay, the art in the book was really good on every page, and now in the species section, it's worse. We've taken a step down. I was saying only good things about the art, and this is like the species section is dipping. We got Alf. Drow is back. If you prefer Drow or Drow, I don't know what you prefer. But whichever one. High elves, wood elves, different races of elf. Elf traits. Yeah, I liked the Dragonborn art too. You're right. Yeah, the Dragonborn art was nice. I draw. As an elf, you have these special traits. Dark Vision 60. I look forward to the... Yeah, Drow is getting 120 for sure. Elven lineage. You're part of a lineage that grants you supernatural abilities. Choose a lineage from the Elven lineages table. You gain 1 benefit when you reach 3 and 5. So you're kind of like leveling up in your species. That's kind of nice. Harkens back to the old days when elf used to be a class. Oh yeah, I don't know why they didn't do this for... Why didn't they do this for the Asmar? Like you cast it with wisdom or charisma, whatever your spellcasting ability is for, Why didn't they do that for Asmar? How come Asmar has to be charisma? Maybe that's just the species, right? Asmar, elves are different, but Asmar are more similar. Advantage on saving throws to charmed. You have proficiency in insight, perception, or survival. Keen senses, still really good. You don't need to sleep. The magic can't put you to sleep. You can finish a long rest in 4 hours. Big. And then you're either Drow, High Elf, or Wood Elf. 120 Dark Vision. You can also cast Dancing Lights. And then Fairy Fire, and then Darkness. No Levitate, though. Menzo Branza and Erasure. No Levitate, huh? No Noble Drow there. Prestidigitation, which is a great cantrip. Love it. And whenever you finish a long rest, you can replace it with a different one from the wizard spell list. Cool. And then Detect Magic, really useful. And then Misty Step, really. Okay, so High Elf shits on Drow, that's for sure. And then Wood Elf, your speed is 35. Oh, you're fast. And you know Druidcraft, which I don't know what that is. I'll have to look it up. Long Strider, Pass Without Trace. Okay, big. I don't know if I don't like this or if I don't like gnomes. I think I don't like gnomes. This art's good. It's cartoony and silly and fun, you know? And it's drawn well. But maybe I just don't like gnomes. Gnomes are annoying in every online game. And it has soured me. Oh, they live about 425 years. I like how it's so specific. They're getting you into the feeling of gnomes where they say around and then list a specific. That's good writing there. Did they say how long elves live for? They didn't. Wait, maybe they do up here. Yeah, they did. Here we go. Big livers. Okay, 750. What about dwarves? 350. Yeah, so it's about the same. Unchanged mostly. Dark vision 60. Literally everyone has dark vision. Your advantage on intelligence, wisdom, and charisma saves. Okay. Jesus. Advantage on every mental saving throw. Holy. Really? You just want to hand that out? You are part of a lineage that grants you supernatural abilities. You know, minor illusion. And you can cast Speak with Animals. Or, you know, mending and prestidigitate. And you can make a tiny clockwork device. That's fun. You know, Forest Gnome BTFO, man. Rock Gnome be making toys over here. This is sweet. You make a little music box, a little toy. It produces an effect whenever someone takes a bonus action to activate it. That's fun. Okay, really fun. Why doesn't everyone else get to have this kind of fun? I really dislike this picture. I don't like it. The art was so good in the book until we got to this section. Goliath towering over most folk. No strength bonus, by the way. Absolutely the same. Goliath. They're descended from the first giants. Okay, so half giant, in other words. Eight feet tall, medium. Okay, 35 feet. They got the long legs. It's show muscle, yeah. It's the yellow one. I didn't even look at the yellow one. Oh no. This one's giving us the and the fluoride stare. Man, okay. You descended from giants. You are big. Is this where Stone Skeleton is? As a bonus action, you can magically teleport up to 30 feet. So Misty Step. That's really strong. It doesn't feel like a cloud giant ability, though, to teleport. Are cloud giants known for teleporting? It just feels out of place. It's strong. Like, but that's weird. You are descended from giants. You are 8 feet tall. Huge. Your special ability is you can teleport. Okay. Fair enough. They're adding more flavor to it. Fire's burn. When you hit a target with an attack roll and deal damage to it, you can also deal d10 fire damage to that target. How many times? Prof bonus, long rest. Okay. They're... Alright. Now that I read the second one, it's fine. They're leaning into the super magical nature of it, like the magical nature of it. It's not like they're huge. It's cloud giants have cloud magic and fire giants have fire magic. Now it makes sense. It was just the first one felt out of context, that's all. Frost chill, when you hit a target, you do less cold damage, but you reduce its speed. Hill giant, when you hit a large or smaller creature with an attack and deal damage, you can give it the prone condition. You just give it. Do they get a save? Is prone good? Hold on. Page 192. Your only movement options are to crawl or to spend an amount of move equal to half your speed to right yourself and thereby end the condition. You have disadvantage on attack rolls. An attack roll against you has advantage if the attacker is within 5 feet. Otherwise, the attack roll has disadvantage if you're farther away. Okay. Yo, it's real easy to hit somebody that's lying down. The implication being not really moving much, I guess. But maybe they are. Okay. So they lose half their speed, and your friends attacking that guy now have advantage until he gets back up. So prone is good. Oh, I typed in the wrong number. Here we go. And it just happens. You just choose to do it. You hit somebody, deal damage. They're prone. The rest of your friends go. Advantage. Maybe in a multi-melee party, it'd be kind of nice. Or your next hit, if you have 2 hits. It'd be real awkward if you're going after everyone in initiative, right? But something to think about. Stone Skeleton. When you take damage, you can make a reaction roll of d12 and add your con modder to it. And then reduce the damage dealt. Okay. So it's like really good early game and then completely useless later. Or maybe not. I don't know how much stuff scales. When you take damage from a creature within 60 feet, you can do a reaction to deal thunder damage to that creature. You lightning them. Okay. Bad. Almost certainly you're going to be capped on doing some other reaction as almost any class. So, Goliath traits. Misty Step is just great. So Cloud's Jaunt is one of the best. And Hill's Tumble is the second best. These cost a reaction, and I'm sure you're just going to be fresh out of reactions, and you're not using it on this crap. So yeah, I like Hill's Tumble, and I like Cloud Giant. Large form. Large form, Peter. Starting at character level 5, you can change your size to large as a bonus action. So you like say huge and you like bulk up. Huge. This transformation lasts for 10 minutes until you stop holding your breath. For that duration, you have advantage on strength checks, and your speed increases by 10 feet. You become huge. That's funny. You don't get any... Ahem. Ahem. Okay, it's funny. but I don't care. Everything you get is like everything you get out of this. Advantage on strength checks, whatever. Plus 10 speed, whatever. It's just fucking hilarious that you become large. You gain a size category. You just become huge. How is this good? Let me think. If you're large size, are you technically 4 squares? Do you gain squares on the battle map? And so your like area of effect things become bigger. Melee attacks are 10-foot range instead of 5, so good for your zoning. Okay, alright. Okay, well, large form is hilarious then. I approve. And I like how you become large regardless of which thing you chose up here. Starting character level 5, you can gain 3 squares as a bonus action. Let's go. Powerful build. You have advantage on any saving throw you make to end the grappled condition. You also count as one size larger when determining your carrying capacity. So if you become, you go large form, right? You become big. Then you count as huge when determining carrying capacity. How much can you lift? You count as huge, dude. They're doing everything they can to not just give you +2 strength in this class, in this race, I mean. Alright, large form, powerful build. I don't know. How often are you grappled? Probably a decent amount, I guess. Dude, you could carry yourself. Alright, Goliaths are big. It's a pity, it's a shame about that picture. Oh, this one's nice. I like this one. Alright, so not all the species art is really bad. This one's charming and peaceful. Look at how happy they are. These half-olings. Live about 150 years. Alright. That's more than 11D1. Dwarf art was good too. The dwarf art was funny, yeah. Because they were absolutely jacked. And it was the only time you've ever seen a happy dwarf. Because they were forging. Of course they're happy, right? Yeah, the dwarf picture was good. This one's probably the best. I like the dragon picture as well. But it's like every other one is kind of lacking. You are brave. You have advantage on saving throws made to avoid or end the frightened condition. Okay, that is probably a pretty common condition. We read it. Like, it's good to avoid that. Ahem. Half-oling nimbleness. Move through the space of any creature that is a size larger than you, but you can't stop in the same space. Okay. When you roll a 1 on a d20, you can re-roll it. And you must use the new roll. Overpowered. Dude, you are 2.5% better than anyone else. Sometimes. You can take the hide action even when you are obscured only by a creature that is at least one size category larger than you. Okay, that's probably pretty good. Ugh, yeah. We are following the every other one is good rule. Because this is, I think this is wonderful. It's charming. I love this. And then, ugh. Humans. Is the next one just good? Kinda. Look at my orc over here. Gringork. Let's go with the wide brim. My man. Anyway, we're going to humans first. Actual cowboy orcs. You could be a small human if you want. Gain heroic inspiration whenever you finish a long rest. Oh, they're just passing these out. And as we read in the heroic inspiration section, you can, if you already have it, you can give it to someone else. So that's sick. You just get a free skill, anything, and you gain an origin feat of your choice. You still get a feat, so you're still the best race, maybe. Although you don't have dark vision, which is pathetic and sad. Yeah, they mentioned sigil. Sorry. I heard the designers talk about it. It's actually sigil. But I hate that. But that's what it is. Talking about the City of Doors and Planescape. Let's go. I mean, they own the IP. They should flaunt it, right? And now we get to the Cowborks. Let's go. Humanoid, medium, 30 feet. Adrenaline Rush. You can take the dash action as a bonus action. When you do, you gain a number of temporary hit points equal to proficiency bonus. Turn a number of times equal to your prof. I don't think I want to take the dash action. Do I? Do I want to take the dash action? Oh, double dark vision, big. Okay, 120 feet. Relentless endurance. When you are reduced to 0 hit points but not killed, you can drop to 1 instead. Alright, so once a day you don't die. Alright, orcs are still good. Bonus action, move 30 feet. Big dark vision. Once a day you don't die. Yeah, orc's still good. And look at my man's mustache. Oh, you can't see it because chat is obscuring it. He's got a Magnum PI ass stash there. And tiefling. It's okay. Pronounced tiefling. Yeah, that's the one I do pronounce right. Abyssal. Chthonic. And infernal. I feel like their references were overacting. Whatever references they used were like overacting, and they went with it. I don't hate it. I'm in the middle on it. Look at this dude. Yo, my man up here. Let's go. Oh, pardon me, milady on the side there. Milady in green. Oh, there's a snake under the table and a dagger under the table. They're like pantomiming a little too much, but otherwise I really like it, and I'm not going to complain too much. Tiefling traits. Medium or small. Oh, only 60-foot dank vision, huh? Okay. Fiendish legacy. Oh no, they get the stupid spell stuff. It's not stupid, I guess. When you reach level 3 and 5, you learn a higher level spell on the table. You have a blah blah blah. You know the Thaumaturgy cantrip, which is way worse than Prestidigitate, but maybe not in this edition. We'll have to check it. Abyssal, Chthonic, or Infernal. Resistant to poison. And you know poison spray. That sucks. Ray of sickness. That sucks. And hold person. I don't think that's good. But maybe they changed the spells, so we'll see. Abyssal, you're not doing it for me. You have resistance to necrotic damage, kind of useful depending on how evil your enemies are. Chill touch if it still stops healing, it's good. False life, whatever. Ray of enfeeblement, whatever. And infernal. Resistant to fire, yes. You know, firebolt, good. Hellish Rebuke, good. Darkness, good. Whole person is great now? Okay. I'm pleased. I can't wait to get to the magic section. They made hold person good again. They made hold person great again. This looks like art from Call of the Cthulhu. And so I hate it. Cog Fop looking ass. Call of Cthulhu stuff. Don't like it. Oh, and then we just get the feats. Okay. Yeah, the tiefling felt kind of boring. Well, tiefling feat's boring. You can't even get wings anymore. Did you skip classes after Bard? What I did was, I wanted to go to backgrounds and races and stuff before I dipped into all the classes. You know? Why is he in a wheelchair? Dude, he's got the... Let's go. They wheel him in. He's got the blicky ready to go. Damn, I can't wait till you guys get level 6 and you can cure this. Do I care about feats or do I care more about classes? Hey, well, stop looking at classes when you saw the assless bard. Look, there's... Why would you make a bard like that? How could you do that to him? Let's review, okay? Oh, they have an entire splash screen for all the different things. That's cool. Looks like art from a phone game from China. Chrono of Light. Either this is rendered really well or it's kind of digital. No ass having fake bard. I thought bards are supposed to have charisma. What's this? A disgrace. I can't even look at it anymore. Finally, you know, I could stand a lot of that other stuff, but we've gone too far. Yeah, I guess we go to the feet section. When the bard has no ass, you go to the feet section, am I right? Oh, shit. So, read through all the races. Species feel a bit meh. Hits and misses. Just kind of hits and misses. L plus ratio plus gluteless. Free advantage on all mental saves, though. Yeah, that's why I said hits. there are hits and misses. But ultimately, I suppose it's better than at the tail end of 5th edition, it felt like every race was just dark vision plus misty step, basically, no matter who you were. And it was really bland and generified, and everything was just the same. It's like you have human, which gives you a feat, and then you have everybody else, which give you dark vision and basically Misty Step. And it was feeling real samey. But I'm not like excited to play any of the. I suppose that's going to be really depending on the person. But I read the abilities you get for being the races, and I'm not like excited to play any of them. Or ooh, that would be really cool to do this thing or interesting. I don't know. I think the problem is I've been running a Rifts game, and so that's not fair, right? Because that game celebrates the absolute absurd nonsense alien races and everything that you can be in, all the 50 splat books worth of interesting shit. And then you get in, and then I read D&D 24, and it's like you get dark vision and a proficiency bonus to resistance to necrotic. And then the Rifts, it's like you have 7 arms, 3 exclamation points. You can track by scent alone. When there's a supernatural creature, you can tell. You're immune to the gaze of a vampire. You have supernatural strength. Your race is naturally psychic and all this other stuff, and it just keeps going and going. You come from the Hat Planet, where everything is made out of hats, and now you're on Rift's Earth. Anyway, I think that's the real problem, and so I can't judge it too harshly. I'm playing the crazy game that doesn't even pretend to be balanced, so it's really my fault. Are we going to talk about origin feats here? Where can I find origin feats? Aha, just immediately at the first category. I was looking for... I see, over here it says origin. Okay, so some of them are origin. There's not like a section for origin feats, it's just... Okay, alright. When you roll initiative, you can add your proficiency to it. Immediately after you roll initiative, you can swap your initiative with the initiative of one willing ally in the same combat. Unbelievably strong. Usually, the person who really wants to go first is the type of class that has a shit initiative. So initiative swap is deceptively really good. I was wondering how they would nerf alertness. And I see that they have, it's slightly worse. It's just proficiency to an ed. But being able to hot swap, that's really good. Very nice. Your GM thinks it's because of Adventure League, balance over flavor. Adventure League? That still exists? Adventure League was the joke, the idea of someone who didn't understand what D&D was all about. The worst way to... There's no wrong way to play Dungeons & Dragons, but Adventure League is the wrong way to play it, top to bottom. The only thing I could imagine more wrong would be like a tournament or something for D&D. Like, no, dude. Man, I forgot about that. I saw when they were kind of coming up with it, and I'm like, man, I can't wait for this to die, this awful idea. I guess it's still around. Maybe it's different. I shouldn't judge it today based on how bad it was back then. What an awful way to play the game. Just missing the whole point. Do they put all the origin feats first at least? They do. Nice. Okay, good. Good organization. You should have all the origin feats under the same heading right away first. That was good. So you're no longer simply immune to being surprised, right? Which is the massive nerf, right? But initiative swap is really tactically interesting. And players being immune to surprise is you know, I guess fine. I don't care. I actually don't care. I was gonna pretend to care, but I don't. Surprise works completely differently now. Oh, okay, well, yeah, that's true. There's no longer like a surprise round or one action worth of surprise or anything. So we're just trying to create the D&D cinematic universe. I noticed. I read through the Barbarian. The classes are Marvel superheroes now. The tone. Really, it's been tone creep essentially for the entire lifetime of the game, and it's just the direction it's going. But yeah, I looked at the Barbarian class and I'm like, okay, you're a D&D classes are comic book characters now. Like you're comic book superheroes, you're mutants. Which is, you know, that's fun if you want that. Crafta. 3 different artisan tools. Whenever you buy a non-magic item, you receive a 20% discount on it. How do they know? Fast crafting. When you finish a long rest, you can craft 1 piece of gear from the fast crafting table. It lasts until the item lasts until you finish another long rest, at which point it falls apart. You can make a ladder, a torch, a case, a pouch, block and tackle, jug lamp, ball bearings, bucket, caltrops, grappling hook, iron. So you can make most of the things you would need in a pinch in like a dungeon or something. Okay. And it lasts for 1 day and then falls apart and you make it again. So this isn't like crafting magic items. I guess it's an origin feat. Magic items would probably be something else. Man, when I get to the tools section, I better see some real shit here. Healer. If you have a healer's kit, you can expend 1 use of it, tend to a creature within 5 feet, or utilize creature expend its hit die, and then you roll it and it can heal. Okay. Isn't that just what the healer kit should just do? Why is this a feat? If you roll a die to determine the number of hit points you restore with a spell, or with this feat, you can reroll 1. Okay, so restore with a spell, you can reroll 1. Is healing good this edition? Because I'm used to clerics healing for less with 1 entire spell than monsters are dealing with each attack, which made healing essentially like awful in most D&D, unless really specific circumstances came up. By default, healer kit can stabilize but not actually heal hit points. Oh, okay. Just stabilizes, but this one can actually cause them to do that. All right. Lucky. You have enough roll luck points equal to your proficiency bonus. You can spend the points as listed below. When you roll d20, for a d20 test specifically, you can spend 1 luck point to give yourself advantage. Okay, that's good. I'll have to read exactly what test means. Obviously, it's not save, it's not attack. Is that a check? I'll have to look up the specifics. When a creature rolls d20 for an attack against you, you can spend a luck point to impose disadvantage. Oh, never mind. Doesn't matter what this does. Lucky. OP. How many times can I do this? Proficiency? Alright, yeah. Lucky. Best feat in the game. Let's go. Auto disadvantage twice a day. Ridiculous. Magic initiative. You learn 2 cantrips of your choice from Cleric, Druid, or Wiz. Okay. Oh, but there's more. Choose level 1 spell from the same list. You always have it prepared. You can cast it once without a spell slot, and you regain it long rest. Cool. That's good. Neat. I like it. Magic Initiate. Seems good. I remember Lucky used to be I was actually, I remember lucky. I was never able to choose this feat as a player because in 3 different games they had banned it. So it was because it was OP. And so I wasn't able to like play with it, but it seemed good. And I guess now I can't because it's different now. Musician. Proficiency with a musical instrument. When you finish a short or long, you can play a song. And give heroic inspiration. Alright. Same thing as the human thing. Savage attacker. Once per turn, when you hit a target with a weapon, you can roll the damage dice twice. Once per turn. Oh, this is really good. Hold on. Who got Savage Attacker? Was it Orc? This is good. It's kind of fun. Rerolling the dice, you know? No, it wasn't Orc. Sorry, I was being prejudiced. I thought Savage Attacker was Orc, but I forgot. They're just humans now. Who had Savage Attacker? What was the thing for that? Oh, it was a background. That's it. Okay, yeah. I bet it was probably a background. I don't know why I thought that species gave you feats. But it would make sense if they did. Yeah, soldier, that was the one. Skilled, you can gain it more than once. Of 3 skills or tools of your choice. Okay, 3's a lot. 3's a lot of skills. Tavern Brawler. You get unarmed stuff. If you're a monk, you probably want this, right? Because you get to re-roll your unarmed. And then tough. When you get into the character, your hit point max increases by an additional 2. Okay. You get 2 hit points a level. Dude, dwarves only get 1 per level. What? That's bullshit. A tough dwarf, 3 hit points a level? An actual square. And these are general feats. Farmer dwarf hit point maxing. Increase one ability score by 2 or 2 by 1. You can take this more than once. I don't like this. I don't like this. Don't offer me numbers. I guess, okay, so... Oh, the way we fixed this is they just... All of these are like if you have an odd number, you get something. Is actual every feat like this? Okay. So every feat is if you happen to have an odd number in a stat, then you're allowed to choose a feat. But if you have an even number, then you have to choose ability score improvement. I don't like that solution to the problem. But that's the game. While you're disguised as a real or fictional person, you have advantage on charisma to convince others that you are that person. You are him. You can mimic. Okay. Actor. Athlete. Gain the climb speed equal to your speed. You actually can't do this if you have 12. Don't even try. If you only have a 12 strength, Don't even try to be an athlete. Just eat a whole bunch of donuts, it's fine. You can't ever climb. You can hop up, you can climb speed equal to your speed, and you can yump. This seems awful. Is this... Like, who cares? Charja. When you take the dash action, your speed increases by 10 feet. If you move at least 10 feet in a straight line toward a target immediately before hitting it, as part of the attack action, choose one of the following effects. Gain a small bonus to the attack's damage roll, or push the target 10 feet away. You can only use this once on each of your turns. It's pretty minor. Maybe it's not minor, maybe the game is really scaled down or something. Chef. Cooks utensils. Replenishing meal. As part of a short rest, you can cook a special food if you have the ingredients. And cooks utensils. You prepare enough of this food for a number of creatures equal to 4 plus your prof. At the end of the short rest, any creature who eats the food and spends one or more hit die regains hit points, an extra d8, okay? Bolstering treats. Yo, anyone getting bolstered by some treats later? With 1 hour of work or when you finish a long rest, you can cook a number of treats. Let's go, treat cooking. Special treats last for 8 hours. I love it. They keep using the word treats. The special treats, they last for 8 hours. That's what the dwarf was doing. He had this feat. Creature can use a bonus action to eat a treat and gain temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. It's so nothing. They use so many words and it's like so fun, and then it does nothing. Let my man cook. Alright. I didn't realize feats would be this boring and bad. I no longer feel bad about taking ability score every time. I'm not missing out on anything. You can just roleplay cooking. You know? Whatever. You ignore the load property of the hand crossbow. Okay, you're able to use them. So you just chain gun rapid fire full automatic crossbows. So you're just Diablo 4, just spinning around shooting crossbow bolts. Okay. Being within 5 feet of an enemy doesn't impose disadvantage on your attack rolls with crossbows. Oh yeah, I used to do that. When you make an extra attack of the light property. When you make the extra attack of the light property. Oh, if a weapon has a light property, it allows you to make an extra attack, I guess. I'm learning this now as I read this. And I read the book in order, so this would be the first time, unless you skip to the equipment section, that a new player would have read those words as well. You can add your ability modifier to the damage of the extra attack. If that attack is with a crossbow, it has a dual wielding cross. This is so stupid. But somebody likes Van Helsing, I guess. And they'll have a lot of fun with this. It's dumb. It also like allows you to be a crossbow character at all, because apparently they had a loading property, so you have to have this feat to be that thing. The Crusher. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals bludgeoning, you can move it 5 feet. What does that matter, though? It's not like they provoke, right? Enhanced crit. When you score a crit, attack rolls against the creature have advantage until the starting next turn. Okay, so you like it's not really enhanced critical. What it is like armor breaker or something. It's like stunning critical or something. Everybody else has advantage. The Crusher. Defensive Duelist. If you're holding a finesse weapon and another creature hits you... Damn, these two... Hold on. These two are not the same. Crossbow Expert. Normally, crossbows are basically nothing, but now you can super reload them and they're a thing, and you can fire in melee, even if that disadvantage used to be a separate feat entirely, and then also you can dual wield them. It like turns on being able to use that weapon at all. And then the Crusher. You can move someone 5 feet, which doesn't matter. And 1 in 20 attacks cause the next attack to have advantage, and your party members probably have advantage already somehow. Like, the Crusher is terrible. Unless I'm missing something. I might be missing something, but the Crusher seems really bad in comparison to you can fight without disadvantage and reload fast and dual wield. Anyway, Defensive Duelist. If you're holding a finesse weapon and another creature hits you, you can take a reaction to add your prof bonus to your AC, potentially causing the attack to miss. And then you keep that until the start of your next turn. Neat. That's cool. I don't know how choked on reactions you will be as a character in this game yet. So every time I read an ability that requires you to spend a reaction, I'm not sure how good they are. You can only take 1 reaction. And so you got to be real fucking picky with what that reaction is going to be. Reactions aren't super common like bonus actions. Okay. Yeah, regardless of how common they are, it's sort of like which ones do you have access to and how much do they step on each other's feet, I guess. Dual Wielder. When you take the attack action on your turn and attack with a weapon that has the light property, you can make 1 extra attack as a bonus action later in the same turn with a different weapon, which must be a melee weapon. You don't add your ability modifier to the extra attack's damage, unless the modifier is negative. And then you can quick draw. Okay, so dual wielding is a defensive style. It doesn't mean you attack a million times extra. It means you can parry and riposte. I know that this is popular enough that this is just how it is for everyone, but I'm like slightly disgruntled about that. However, I guess it doesn't matter. It's fine. Durable. Take advantage on death saving throws. Okay. As a bonus action, you can expend 1 of your hit die, roll the die, and regain a number of hit points equal to the roll. Okay, you get second wind. Okay. Choose one of the following damage types. Spells you cast ignore resistance to damage of the chosen type. Pog. Big. In addition, when you roll damage, you can treat 1s as 2s, okay. You can take the feat more than once, but you must choose a different damage type each time. You should be able to take it twice and break immunities. Turn immunities into resistant. I think. Like, cool, but it should turn an immunity into a resistance if you take it a second time. In my IMO, or something like that. Immunity breaker. Fey touched. Choose level 1 spell from Divination or Enchantment Schools of Magic. You always have that spell and the Misty Step spell prepared. You can cast each of them without expending spell slot once you cast either. That spell again. Okay, so you get both. You can also cast these spells using spell slots if you want, sure. Probably not. Grappler. Oh, give him the old punch and grab. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike as part of the action on your turn, you can use both the damage and the grapple option. Borscht Dynamite. You have advantage on attack rolls against a creature grappled by you. Okay. Your speed is not halved when you move a creature with grappled. You just run around with them. Farm or carry. Alright. Grappler is the type of, like, thing that you have to look up all the rules for, and then probably there's some way to make it really good. Great Weapon Master. When you hit a creature with a weapon that has the heavy property, for the attack action, you can cause the weapon to deal extra damage. It equals your proficiency. Hew. Immediately after you score a crit with a melee weapon, or reduce a creature to 0. You can make one as a bonus. Oh, you cleave. Except, yeah. So you get cleave, but not just on a crit. Also when you kill something. And then also you do extra damage. Massive. I feel like it's unfair to compare Great Weapon Master to the Sledgehammer one, because this is for all big weapons, and Sledgehammer is like just for bludgeoning, right? But yeah, this is good. This is strong. Yeah, be a Goliath, go big, sailor, tavern brawler, grappler, wear a leopard print mask, you know, and be armor king, except 8 feet tall. Hope they know the inputs. Heavily armored. Gain training with heavy armor. Okay. Heavy armor master. When you're hit by an attack while you're wearing heavy armor, you take a small amount of reduced damage. I mean, it's cool that you get DR, finally. Because wearing heavy armor has always kind of sucked unless you could get your dex bonus somehow. So I appreciate getting something, like something, right? Inspiring Lita. Up to 6 allies get temporary hit points equal to your character level plus the modifier of the ability you increased with this feat. That's decent. At low levels, I guess. Maybe. Keen Mind. Oh, you could... This is a way to get expertise in something. And then you can... Oh, quick study. Let's go. Quick maths. You can do quick maths. Study as a bonus action. Interesting action economy thing here. Lightly armored. Training with light armor and shields. Okay. Mage Slayer. When you damage a creature that is concentrating, it has disadvantage on the saving throw it makes to maintain concentration. Cool. Cool. If you fail an int, whiz, or charisma saving throw, you can cause yourself to succeed instead. What? Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again. It's short rest? And it doesn't even say from a spell. Alright, Mage Slayer is ridiculous. Holy. Alright, this is the first exciting feat I've read in this entire book so far. Yep, alright. Hey, kinda nice. Kinda nice with it. Jesus. Martial weapon training, whatever. Medium armor master, whatever. You can add 3 rather than 2 to your AC if you have a dex. Okay, so +1 AC. Ooh. Amazing. Moderately armored. Mounted combat. I mean, I'll read how it works. I don't care. Well, mounted, you have advantage on attack rolls against unmounted creatures. Cool, yeah, makes sense. You have the high ground. If your mount is subjected to an effect that allows it to make a dex save, you can instead take... You get evasion. You get evasion for your mount. While mounted, you can force an attack that hits your mount to hit you instead. Okay. Give him the veer. Which is one of the following skills. Insight investigation when you lack... Oh, okay. Way to get expertise. And then you can search as a bonus action. I think the bonus action search and observe stuff is kind of neat. Now, the way I have ruled it in the past is that those were bonus actions anyway. But we're going official with it now, so okay. Action economy. You get horsemanship and flanking, true. Oh, they call him the Piercer. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack deals piercing damage, you can re-roll one of the attack's damage dice. And you must use the new roll. What do you mean one of the attack's damage dice? Are you implying it would have more? Okay. When you score a crit, you can roll one additional damage die when determining the extra. Okay. Pretty minor. I guess, so this feels really minor, but so does the sledge one. So I guess the specific types, the category ones, just aren't that exciting. Poissonnier. When you make a damage roll that deals poison, it ignores resistance to poison damage. Big. Okay. If you're trying to poison, sure. And then here's some poison creation guidelines that I don't care at all about. And would never read unless a player wants to make one. Finally you get to, yeah, so poison might matter. It's still immune though. But it does ignore resistance. Polearm Master. The Polearm Master is like always broken. Let's see. Immediately after you take the attack with a quarterstaff, spear, weapon, you can use a bonus action to hit again. However, it's only D4. We're holding a quarterstaff, spear, or weapon that has heavy. You can take a reaction to make one melee attack against a creature that enters your reach you have with that weapon. Geez, finally a realistic fight move. Yes. You do probably get somewhat of a free attack against somebody entering your threat range. What doesn't make sense is when someone leaves your threat range and you somehow get to attack them. So Polearm Master shits on Piercer and Sledger. Maybe Polearm Master is like a great weapon thing though. Is Polearm different than Great Weapon? Is Great Weapon? I assume that I thought the Great Weapon meant two-handed, but maybe that's not. We'll find out. Anyway, seems great. Great Weapon is just anything heavy, so can you have a Great Weapon that's a polearm? Does that count? Heavy and reach tags, okay. Because I like reaction attack. Heavy weapon includes pikes and glaives. Okay. Resilient. Saving throw proficiency with the chosen ability. Okay. Ritual caster. Choose a number of first level spells equal to proficiency bonus that have ritual tag. You always have those prepared. You can cast them with any spells. Okay. Quick Ritual. With this benefit, you can cast a ritual that you have prepared using its regular cast time rather than the extended. It doesn't require a spell slot. Okay. The Ritualer. Forget spear every time because it kind of was ass in D&D. D6 when one-handed. Immediately after a creature within 5 takes the disengage action or hits a target other than you. Hits a target other than you, but it has to be within 5. You can make an opportunity attack against it. When you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, creature's speed becomes 0 for the rest of the current turn. Interesting. Shadow Touched. You always have that spell and invisibility prepared. Neat. Sharpshooter. Your ranged attacks with weapons ignore half cover and 3/4 cover. Cool. Bypass cover. Being within 5 feet of an enemy doesn't impose disadvantage on attack rolls with ranged weapons. Nor should it. It should make you way easier to hit, but it shouldn't make it harder for you to hit the person. It's actually much easier to hit someone when you're closer. Attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage with... Okay, cool. Yep, sharpshooter's good. Shield master. Can using a shield as like an actual attacker guy be good? If you attack a creature within 5 as part of the attack action and hit with a melee weapon, you can immediately bash the target with your shield. Okay. Forcing the target to make a strength save, which it might be really bad at. Probably not most monsters, but... Push it 5 feet or cause that prone, which is good. Once each of your turns, interpose shield. Big B's interposing shield, huh? If you're subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dex save, you can take a reaction to take no damage if you succeed on the save and are holding... Yeah, you do the thing. You do the actual thing with the shield. It took them 20 years to write a rule that does this. Let's go. Skill expert. Oh, it's the thing that you got with the other two. Cool. Skulka. You exploit the distractions of battle, gaining advantage on dex stealth checks as part of the hide action during combat. You also have blind sight in a range of 10 feet, which is great. Super short range, but blind sight's good. If you make an attack roll while hidden and the roll misses, making the attack roll doesn't reveal your location. Cool. It's kind of fun. Slasher. This guy's a slasher. A feat for knowing how Dr. Disrespect got banned. Once per turn, when you hit a creature with an attack that deals slashing damage, you can reduce the speed of the creature by 10 feet until starting next turn. Whatever. When you score crit, it has disadvantage attack rolls. Okay, so one of them gives your friends advantage. One of them does 1 extra dice of damage. And one of them gives him disadvantage on the rest. Okay. Slasher, Bludgeoner, and Piercer, I basically don't like any of them. This guy's speedy. Just plus 10 speed, okay. When you take the dash action, difficult terrain doesn't cost you extra movement. Big. This is really dependent. Some GMs really like to use difficult terrain and explain the location and, oh, the place you're fighting, it's kind of like an arena, and, oh, there's a swamp thing here, or what. Some GMs really like to have the, how do I put it, the environment really matter in combat, and some don't. And this is really good for the latter, or for the former. Or just fly, but, you know, whatever. Spell Sniper. Yeah, okay, the same thing as Sniper except for spells. When you cast a spell, it has a range of at least 10 feet and requires you to make an attack roll. You can increase the spell's range by 60 feet. That's a big range increase. It's a big range increase. Spell Sniper kind of good, depending on what spells are doing. Okay. Telekinetic. Really interesting. We're putting psionics into the PHB at long last. It seemed like only yesterday I was opening up the complete psionics handbook with that brown cover. Paperback, basically. Yeah, it did used to double. You learn the Mage Hand spell. Oh. Well, that's the most boring way you could ever possibly explain telekinesis. But sure, they already have a mechanic for it, I guess. And you have a TK shove. Why are there so many shove actions if they don't proc attacks of opportunity? What's the point of shoving? Do you provoke an attack of opportunity if you, like, cast a spell when somebody's 5 feet away from you still? In which case I could see doing like a shove action thing first and then doing that. But they all eat up actions, which is kind of gross. Telepathic. You can speak telepathically to any creature you can see within 60 feet. Your utterances are in a language you know, and the creature understands you only if it knows that language. Communication doesn't give the creature the ability to respond to you telepathically. Okay. Detect thoughts. You always have detect thoughts spell prepared. You can cast it without. Okay, cool. Warp caster. You have advantage on Constitution saving throws that you make to maintain concentration. Yep, required. Required reading for being a spellcaster. You must take this feat. And it evens out with Mage Slayer, right? So if you have advantage and then disadvantage, you're straight rolling again, right? Warcaster is still required. When a creature provokes from you by leaving your reach, you shouldn't ever provoke by leaving someone's reach. I'm still shocked that that was a thing in 3rd edition. It makes no sense. You provoke when you enter someone's reach. That's the way fighting works. What do you mean, leaving? Anyway, it's fine. Anyway, you can straight up cast a spell against them as an opportunity attack. The idea is you're turning your back on them. It doesn't matter. You're moving away. Like, you're out, you know? So you say, without turning my back, I take a step back. Free hit. Weird. You can perform the somatic components of spells even when you have weapons and a shield. Oh, wow, okay. This too. This too. And then Weapon Master. Your training with weapons allows you to use the mastery property of one kind of simple or martial, and whenever you finish a long rest, you can change it. I assume Fighter just gets this, right? Ahem. These feats are in the fighting style category. How many feats do we have? Oh, not too many, actually. There aren't that many fighting style feats. In essence, the idea is you're scoring up, but then stop looking at the guy to leave. I know, like, every way it's described to me is like, no, you see, the idea is you do something, like, patently stupid, as if you were in a horror movie and want to walk up into the attic, you know? And that's why they get a free hit on you. It's like, well, why are you doing something? It only makes sense if you explain it like someone's doing something cartoonishly dumb in a fight. I don't know. It bugged me, but I get that game mechanically they want to punish you for like disengaging from a foe. They want you to either get hit or have to spend a different type of action to move away. It's like a gamey thing. I don't know. Ninjas and Super Spies player here. Tell me about fighting styles D&D. Yeah. Maybe they'll talk about Sambo or Savat. You gain a +2 bonus to attack rolls when you make with ranged weapons. Okay, that makes sense. It's not exactly the way of the patient gun from Geofront China 2. With 15 levels worth of abilities you get and stuff, but +2 attack rolls is pretty good with ranged weapons, though. Blind fighting. You have blind sight 10 feet. Good. It isn't exactly Zanjin Shinjinken Ryu from Japan book, but it, you know, +1 AC is pretty good though. Alright, +1 AC is pretty good. Archery style was a bigger deal when there was a -5 to hit for +10 damage feat. Oh, did they... Is that feat just gone? Am I not going to find it in fighting styles? When you're holding melee weapon in one hand and no others, you get +2 bonus damage rolls. Okay. When you roll damage for an attack you make with a melee weapon that you are holding with 2 hands. Alright, two-hander. Any 1 or 2 is treated as a 3. Nah. So I guess on 2d6 that's like extra cool, right? So great weapon fighting is for like multiple dice of damage rolls. So in essence, 6 is the lowest you can roll with like a greatsword, I guess. When a creature you can see it's another creature within 5 feet of you, and the attack roll you can take a reaction to reduce the damage. Okay, you can intercept. Protection. In Bro is your shield, you impose disadvantage on the triggering attack roll and all other attack rolls till the start of your next turn. Okay. So 1 reduces the damage, 1 makes it harder to hit, but the harder to hit one lasts longer. If you do the math, great weapon fighting does like nothing. You mean great weapon style? Thrown weapon. Wait. Yeah. When you hit with a ranged weapon, ranged attack roll using a weapon that is the thrown property, again +2 bonus damage roll. Okay. When you make an extra attack as a result of using a weapon that has a light property, you can add your ability modifier to damage. Okay. And then unarmed fighting. When you hit with your unarmed strike and deal damage, you can deal bludgeoning equal to d6 plus strength. If you aren't holding weapons, okay. Damn, these fighting style feats are hella boring. No power attack, huh? Late to the party, how's 5.5 looking? Keep in mind that I skipped the class section. And I went just all game mechanics and then background packages, races, and feats. So I skipped all the classes except Barbarian. It's looking hella boring. Like just bland, flavorless mush. Boring. Obsessed with balance in a kind of generically, where everything feels small because of that, I guess. I don't know. Took out some flavor, shifted some cups and balls around. I'm not like excited. Maybe once I read the classes I'll be excited, but all this other stuff just feels like +2, -2. Boring. I don't mean to be so judgmental. Alright, now we got epic boon, Ed Boon feats. Is this like epic level? Yeah, prerequisites 19 plus. Okay. Well, I just said that I was bored by how lame most of these skills, feats, abilities, and options, and backgrounds and races are. And now we get to the epic level stuff. And so I'm about to eat my fucking words, because these are the epic feats. Alright? Boon of Combat Prowess. You have to be level 19 for this shit, okay? Your wizard friend is casting multiple wish spells a day. You guys are planeswalking. You're friends with gods. You control nations. You increase ability score by 1. When you miss with an attack roll, you can just hit instead. Every turn. Okay. Just hit? I mean, once a turn, just hit, but just hit, man. If I was drawing up a melee character, I should hope that it would be mathematically impossible for me to ever miss at this point anyway. But okay. Dimensional travel. Immediately after make attack action or the magic action, you can teleport 30 feet. Okay. Man, this feels like a level 10 ability. Maybe my games are overpowered or something. You gain resistance to 2 of the following damage types. Okay. And you can redirect it. Fun. But they do get a save. Or take 10 damage. Boon of Fate. When you or another creature within 60 feet of you succeeds on or fails a d20 test, you can roll 2d4 and just apply it. Once you use this as a benefit, you can't use it again until you roll initiative. Neat. I hadn't read this before. Cool. Normally they only say short or long, but I like the until you roll initiative thing, just to make it a little more common. Teleport every turn for free at level 10. In 3.5, sure. In 3.7.5, hell yeah. In the fun versions of D&D, absolutely. In hands and arms inside the ride at all times, bumper bowling. No. No, not in modern D&D. Boon of Fortitude. Your hit point maximum increases by 40. Hell yeah. Alright, cool. When you roll 20 on the d20 for an attack roll, you can deal extra damage to the target equal to the ability score increased by this feat. The extra damage type is the same. Okay, so let's pretend we have a 30 strength, right? When you roll a 20 on the d20 for an attack roll. Why wouldn't they say natural 20? So it's not a... So this is not a natural 20 then, right? Because they defined what it means to be a natural 20. And they defined what it means to be a critical hit. So this has to be the way they write... Well, but they said on the d20. That's such a strange way to write it. Is this after bonuses, I'm assuming? But it says roll. It doesn't say result of a die roll, you know? It's also not 20 or more. I don't know what they mean by this. They have a word for crit, so it can't be that. And they have a word for a natural 20, so it can't be that. And it's not 20 or above. And they say roll, but not result. If it was result, I could see. I don't know what they mean by that. Judge. You can deal extra damage equal to the target equal to the ability score increased by this feat. So just the number. So like if my strength is 30, I add 30. Overcome defenses. The bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage you deal always ignores resistance. Cool. Yeah, not modifier. It's the big number. Your speed increases by 30 feet. Let's go. I'm level 20. Ooh. Okay. Ignoring resistance matters for high level weapon damage now. Resistance to non-magical BPS is mostly gone. Okay. Alright. You can see in the dark. You can give yourself invisible as a bonus action. Bonus spell recall. Whenever you cast a spell with a level 1 to 4 slot, roll a d4 if the number you roll is the same as the slot's level. The spell isn't expended, so 25% chance. Interesting. Kinda interesting. Boon of True Sight. You have True Sight. You just have it. 60 feet. Trudon. Why is she looking at me? Is she looking at this thing? Warforged, right? Is this, Eberron? Yeah, I couldn't think of the name of it. I never played in Eberron ever. But I recognize the machine people. Don't really like the picture. She is bored. So am I, dude. I don't know. Plus, it's almost 10. I gotta go at 10 anyway. I think this will only take one more stream, I bet. But today was not very exciting. I am extremely whelmed by D&D 5.24. And I'm trying to not be critical and approach it in the way that it wants me to approach it, right? Because, you know, I wanted a 6th edition and they weren't trying to do that. So you can't be mad because they weren't trying to do that, you know. I'm going to read all the classes. I feel like you have to read all the classes. I'd like to see what the weapon things do, because it'd be nice if the weapons had a little more, you know, a reason for more of them to exist. I see they got these mastery things that they either took from Baldur's Gate 3 or Baldur's Gate 3 took it from them in beta, one of the two. Anyway, and the first class we read, which was Barbarian, was greatly improved from the former Barbarian, except in 2 strange places where it was nerfed. But for the most part, it was much improved and it was more exciting. It was more like a Marvel superhero kind of version of a Barbarian. But yeah, so in the background packages and the feats and the races and stuff, very boring and bland and not exciting. But maybe just all the excitement is in the classes. And maybe that's true, because Barbarian was kind of chock full of stuff. So, no final judgments yet. I'm just kind of telling you how I'm feeling so far. That's all. And I want to see the spells and stuff too. Can somebody just tell me if they still use the concentration rules that they had from 5.0? Do we still have that? Yeah? Okay. I don't like the spell casting in that case. And what else can I really just ask very quickly? Don't like that. Do you still have to attune magic items and you can only attune to like 2 or something? And it takes like do you have to attune to all of them still? And it's super restrictive. Do they list magic items? Do they have those in this book? Maybe they just don't. No, they do. Wait. Magic items 1 page? Okay, they just don't. Obviously, we're waiting for that then. You can attune the 3 magic items, but many don't require attunement. Okay, we'll see. We'll see then, in that case. I'm gonna go to tools. I want answers. I'm not ending the stream yet. I got 5 minutes. I want answers. What did tools do? Tools did fucking nothing last edition. What do they do now? A tool helps you make specialized ability checks, craft certain items, or both. This entry lists the ability. Okay. Ability, utilize, craft, variants. Sure. Alright, what do we do with this? Artisan's tools. Focused on crafting items and pursuing a trade. Okay. Alchemist supplies. You can utilize to identify a substance or start a fire. You can craft acid, alchemist, fire, component pouch, oil, paper, and perfume. Okay, but how do you do that? Maybe that's just elsewhere. What are the rules? How do you do that? How do you make those? Detect poison drink or identify alcohol. And you can craft antitoxin, okay. Discern a gem's value with jewels tools, okay. Arcane focus, holy symbol. Make leather stuff, sure. Okay, but how do you do that? So these allow you to craft basically normal equipment, okay. Fair. And then they also like do stuff. These tools support adventure and other pursuits. You can apply makeup, craft costume, mimic 10 or few, okay, gaming set. Discern whether someone is cheating or win the game. Let's go. Natural 20 wins the game. Herbalism kit can make a potion of healing. Good. I hope the rules for making potions isn't so lame. I read the rules for it last time, and there were like 2 different versions of it. And it took you like a week to make 1 potion of healing. And I'm like, how does the economy even work of adventures? Musical instrument. It just says what the play a tune, improvise a song. Okay, whatever. Adventuring gear. Okay, well now how do I craft stuff? Let's find the crafting. Show me the crafting. I have 2 minutes. We can learn crafting. Crafting equipment 233, crafting non-magical items 233. Crafter feat. Wasn't I just there? No. Let's see. Crafting equipment. To craft a non-magic item, you need tools. Okay. Tools section. Required tool to make and proficiency. Okay. To make an item, you need raw materials worth half its purchase cost. Determine how many days, working 8 hours a day, it takes to make the item. Divide its purchase cost by 10. Round a fraction of a day up. For example, you need 5 days to make a heavy crossbow. You need 5 days to make a potion of healing. So you need 8 hours to make 1 potion of healing. 8 hours. It's a long time for 1 potion. Okay. But really, that's it. Alright. So you really just kind of do a little multiplication against the gold value of the thing, and then you spend a ludicrous number of time. We're talking 120 days, or 10 days. Yeah, super long. Okay. Yeah, you craft during downtime, or your hirelings do it for you, and you just kind of wait forever, yeah. Okay. Man, I kind of wanted more. Well, I'm sure they'll talk about crafting magical items in the DMG, right? Which is where the fun stuff begins, right? Being creative. All right, Chad, it's 10 o'clock. I gotta go. Thanks for sticking around. I'm not over it yet, all right? We read some sections that I wasn't really excited about, but the classes are clearly the thing that they did a lot with, so let's do it next time. Hey, it's Thursday. I stream Friday. See you for Age of Sigmar tomorrow. Thanks for showing up.